It's always a guessing game with this fucking thing. There we go. Sup, ladies and gentlemen, Akalon here, and welcome back to each one of you. Of course, if you're watching this over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, smash that bell. But most importantly, remember to join us over on Twitch every once in a while. You know, just come and say hello. It's literally all you have to do. No pressure. Nothing major, just, come chill on Twitch. It is more fun. For any of you that have watched the stream so far, you will know that chat controls everything that happens on the stream. We can literally do anything, right? So it is always more fun when you have the ability to influence the conversation, ask the questions that you think is important. If you want to know anything about the lore, real life, whatever it is, Twitch is the place for you. It is Friday. I don't know why I feel sort of out of it today. I feel like I'm not with it, I feel like I'm not with it. But then again, it is Friday, It's the end of the week. This was a long week. Saint, how you doing, brother? This is a long week. So I'm assuming that's probably why I feel a little bit out of it. How you feeling, Saint? How's your week treated you? Vlad, how you doing, brother? Macam, how you doing? Enoch, how you doing? Hey, Akko, just create the trial account for Final Fantasy 14, and I feel like I'm playing a good game again. Yeah, buddy. That's it. Yeah. Final Fantasy is fucking amazing, dude. You're gonna get dragged into that game on a level that you are not ready for. Believe me. Jury Carver, how you doing? Mickey Moto, how you doing? Razor Connor, how you doing? It is for the lols. What else are we gonna do, right? Twitch for the lols. I genuinely don't know what to do. Still don't have a fucking book. I was, however, last night. I had a conversation with a Blizzard employee, someone who actually had a hand in the book, and someone who works very closely with the lore team. Actually, someone who is on the lore team. They DM'd me on Discord. I don't want to out them because I don't know if they want me to. They didn't tell me anything specific. I just don't want to out them because I don't know if they would be comfortable with that. Pikurku, how you doing? Buttermancer, how you doing? They basically informed me that neither they nor Steve Denuser have received their books yet. So from what I can gather from our short conversation is this is a fuck up somewhere in Amazon. So Amazon somewhere fucked up, and this is why we still don't have books. So at least from what I could gather, right? I don't know if you've covered it already, but in Korthia there is an item that drops called Core of the Unknown Titan. Yes, we've speculated on this, Jury Carver, even before the item dropped. So we have two theories when it comes to who is or what is Korthia. Theory number one is that Korthia is a Titan, right? It's a Titan that lived in the real world, so in the Great Beyond, and somehow made his way into the Shadowlands. Either was pulled into the Shadowlands, or maybe when the veil went up, they were caught inside the Shadowlands rather than in the Great Beyond, right? That's theory number one. Theory number two is that right in the beginning of time, so very long ago, Sargeras cleaved a planet in half. That planet was never named. The planet was never found. We don't know where this planet is that was cleaved in half. So there's speculation that Korthia is the planet that was cleaved in half. Parascopic, how you doing? Gaming Medi, how you doing? Am I watching the Mythic race? No. And this is not a thing on World of Warcraft's current state or anything. I've never been into the Mythic World race, like never. It's never been. So I get why guilds are doing it. Obviously, those guilds really want to make money, and Blizzard is not going to do anything from their side to actually facilitate these guilds to be able to make a living off of it. So I get why they're putting on these Mythic first races and shit. I don't see that as a engaging esports. right? So from where I sit, I'd rather watch CSGO championships. Okay, that's maybe not a good example because I do watch CSGO championships just for the lols though. Like I don't follow the CSGO stuff, but I'll watch it. If it's on Twitch and it's a CSGO tournament, I'll watch it. But I would probably rather watch something like Super Smash Brothers or some shit esports, right? Than I would the Race to World First. I don't think raiding is interesting enough for me to sit and watch someone do it. Any ideas what it was the Titan of? Jury cover, not necessarily. So I've always, Alex, how you doing, bro? Lucky Penguin, how you doing? I've always had sort of an issue with people wanting to believe that every Titan is a Titan of something specific. There is an argument to be made that there could be Titans that are not yet born that do not have specific roles. So they may have power over certain components within the universe, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be a sort of unique power, right? It could be that there are other Titans with some sort of power over time, right? Or with some sort of power over light or lightning or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? There could be, so we don't know how many Titans there are in the universe. According to the chronicles, there could be countless more. Which means you will eventually run out of powers for every single one to have, right? That's just a fact of life. If a Titan was corrupted by the Void, wouldn't that carry on with their world soul into the Shadowlands? Waldron, that all depends. We don't know how the Veil functions. It could be that the Veil functions as a cleaning mechanism, right? So, should that planet be infected by the Void, and also, just to be clear, there's no evidence that that planet was ever infected by the Void or corrupted by the Void. The Void or the Old Gods were just so active on the planet that it looked like the planet had completely succumbed to Void corruption, right? But that I don't think there was ever any mention that they actually investigated the soul to see if that soul is or isn't, right? Scrappy Coco, how you doing? Do you think the Titans actually hold sway with the particular cosmological forces, or do you think that's something they've usurped? Not hold sway, no. I don't think the Titans can influence any of the other cosmological forces unless, of course, there's a deal that was made between them. So it's clear that the Titans are not a collection of all cosmological powers. It's more that they are a collection of sort of the primal powers of the universe. So the Titans draw upon the primal power of the universe. They don't draw upon the cosmological power of the universe. You created a monster, Akalon. I have been playing Final Fantasy for 13 hours straight. All because I listened to your rant yesterday. Mr. Smoken, I would apologize, but you've been having fun, haven't you? Like, admit it, motherfucker, you've been having fun. I'm always wondering how normal people with a life and job can do full mythic raiding. I must go in the basement for 2 months to do that. Gaming medal, so back when I had a full-time job, I was mythic raiding. You basically just spend every minute you're not working playing video games, right? Getting yourself ready, making sure that you're as well prepared as humanly possible. So it's doable. There's plenty of people that world first race and go to college, that world first race and work. It is a balancing act because you give up a lot of your free time. But what people also need to remember about these world first guilds is they usually put a lot of effort into, like, for 2 months, and then they sort of stop, right? After that, they'll play maybe once or twice a week because they finish the raid, it's done, it's over, they're fully geared. Now they play alts. Some of them will join sort of casual raiding guilds. I know for a fact, Method, for example, back when they were at the top, more than half of their team had outside raiding guilds. They would join Method for the world first race, and then as soon as that was done, they would join sort of casual raiding guilds and just raid 3 days a week or some shit. So it is possible. You just need to commit to it. Hey, Akko, my kid said hi. Lol, he heard your voice yesterday and thought you were bullshitting. We were bullshitting. What do you mean we were bullshitting, Seven Raven? Tell your kid I say hello. Dragon Wolf, how you doing, brother? So much fun. Finally got my Dark Knight up to level 50 last night. I fucking hate you, Iron Wombat. My Dark Knight is still level 47. I literally have 3 more levels that I need to find somewhere so that I can actually get to leveling on it. Does bullshit equal chat? What would be the difference in manifestation? Parascopic, what do you mean? Finding up on Dark Knight, maybe how deep the old gods are rooted into the planet. I mean, again, I don't think it matters how deep they are rooted into it. It would matter how much time they've had to actually infect the planet, world, soul itself, right? Saying yes, we spoke about the new cosmological map at length. The reason I'm still sort of sketch about making any content on it is I still don't have the book, right? I don't know when I'm gonna get the book. As far as I'm concerned, most people still don't have the book, right? And so it's sort of no, Dark Knight starts at level 13. And I don't want to cover something and not have the full passages at my disposal. I'm probably going to stop making videos this weekend on the passages that we already have. And then I'll just say beforehand, you know, at the beginning of the video, I still don't have the book. So much of this is subject to change. This is the worst launch in the history of World of Warcraft when it comes to books. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it this way. And I guess the saying that comes to mind is when it rains, it pours. And not in a good way. Right? When things start going wrong, they go wrong all over the place. In places that you did not even expect them to go wrong in. And still silence. Now, apparently Blizzard put out a call to all of their developers to step off Twitter. Like, they've asked their developers to step off of Twitter because they fear for their developer safety, which I think is sort of bullshit, right? Just from Blizzard's side. Because the people that is making death threats, these are pathetic micro-penis individuals, right? These are the kind of people that would not know what to do IRL to actually speak to you, let alone fucking kill you, right? I don't think any of these morons that's going on Twitter, I don't think anyone that threatens anyone on Twitter has the balls to do it IRL. I will just be clear about that. The vast majority of aggressive Twitter users I have ever met are pathetic individuals. These are individuals that will virtue signal, they'll pretend to be all high and mighty. If I were to meet any of those guys in real life, I would slap the living fuck out of them, right? Because these are kids. These are kids that never got taught what good manners are. So I don't think you should have to fear for your life when these people are giving you death threats. You should just block them and move on with your life. This launch just sucks. BS. It doesn't release from Blizzard until August, but released everywhere else in July. Dragon Wolf didn't release everywhere else in July. There's like literally, I think only a few people, a handful of people that got their box. Everyone else is waiting till like mid-August, or some people are even saying end of August. Other people that I've spoken to don't even have a release date. The book just says it's out of stock and they can't be helped. So everything is just a fuck up right now. They're getting them to step away for PR reasons, and they're optically placing the blame on the trolls. Signal Warden, I genuinely don't know what the thoughts or thought experiments are there, but, you know. Mistress, how you doing? I do not believe that it is a good or viable move to tell your developers to step off of platforms where they have the ability to reach out to the player base and actually discuss things with the player base. I think right now the biggest issue World of Warcraft has is it's got an overzealous PR department. Like, Blizzard has, their PR department is one of the worst PR departments in the gaming industry. At least with every other company, the PR department admitted fault. You know, they would apologize when things go wrong. They would try and get out in front of issues. Blizzard's PR department literally just plays ostrich. And I know ostriches don't really bury their heads in the sand, but you know, you guys know what I'm trying to get at. Whenever something goes wrong, Blizzard's PR department just fucking quits. Like, they don't actually PR shit, right? There's not actually any sort of public relations damage control from the Blizzard PR staff. It's literally just, oh, people are upset. Guess we'll go quiet for a while. It's like, okay, so are people going to forget? People may have forgotten years ago, but the internet is forever, motherfucker. We can see how long you did not talk to us. Lots of good stuff coming out. Very true. Mistress, the book is called World of Warcraft, Grimoire of the Shadowlands and Beyond. Feels that they can't rely on the devs to handle the public image properly. The reason they can't handle... So here's the thing, right? Do I think that dev who called Asmongold an asshole is in the right? No. He made a terrible mistake, and he should not have done that. He should have been professional. Do I think that he should be slapped over the wrist or lose his job or be silenced on Twitter? No. In fact, I would prefer if developers were allowed to say, you know what, fuck Akalon, that dude is a cunt. I don't like his content at all. And then give an explanation for why he doesn't like the content. It would make them feel human. It would give us at least some insight into what the developers think. And I think developers care. I really do believe developers care. Speaking to this developer last night, I can tell you that the outrage and the outcry, it affects them personally. They spoke to me quite a bit about everything that's happening right now. And it's very clear that it hurts them deeply. Because they do care. At least as far as he told me, they care a lot. So this guy is part of the Blizzard writing team. And he says, yes, they make mistakes, and yes, sometimes they screw up, but they don't try to. Their whole focus is to make the best possible content for everyone. And I believe him. I do believe him. But if you don't allow your audience or your developers to engage with the audience on a very personal, fundamental level, you're going to screw up more than not, right? Because at the end of the day, if your developers don't actually know what goes on within the community, how are they actually going to create a good game for the community, right? We still pay money for all the crap and delays. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. It doesn't matter really, but they do fuck all to improve the game, never interact with people, but find the balls to call their biggest salesperson an asshole. So stupid. So here's actually my biggest issue. I've been trying for almost 4 months now to get Terran Gregory on the show. For those of you that don't know, I'm friends with Terran. We've hung out in Discord. We've literally played games. I say play games together. We were both playing WoW when we were hanging out on Discord while we were doing it, just sort of chatting away, right? So I'm pretty close to Terran Gregory. I would love to talk to him. He's an amazing guy. He's got such a lovely personality. He's such a kind guy. I would love to hang out with Terran Gregory on the show. And I think my community, you guys, would love that. Like, if I told you next Sunday is going to be me and Terran Gregory sitting down, how many of you are going to be genuinely excited about that? Like, how many of you are going to be genuinely like, oh my fuck, we get to talk to Terran Gregory, right? In order to get Terran on my show, not during work hours, my show is on a Sunday, but in order to get Terran on my show, I need to go through Blizzard PR. I have sent Blizzard PR 5 emails now, asking them, even telling them that I'm willing to submit the topics of conversation, right? Promising them in every email that there's not going to be any gotcha questions. There's not going to be any sort of, sort of trying to get him to say things that he's not supposed to. Guess how many times they've responded to my emails? 0. A full fucking 0. Not even the courtesy of saying, hey, Akalon, you're sadly not big enough right now for us to consider it viable, right? Which I would understand. If they told me, look, we're not going to subject one of our developers to a 50k Andy on YouTube. Come back to us when you have 100k or 200k or whatever. I'd be like, okay, fine, fair enough. No problem, right? I'll take the L. But there's no response. Literally nothing. They don't give a fuck. And I know that I have the right email because I got the email from a Blizzard employee. This is the email that I should use if I want to get in touch with the PR team to actually sit down with one of their developers. It's bullshit. In fact, I shouldn't even have to go through PR. These developers are their own people. If Terran wants to go on a show, and by the way, Terran has told me as much. He's literally said, get PR. I would love to. Just approach PR. I would love to sit down with you for 2.5 hours and actually chat about World of Warcraft. So he wants to do it. They will not let me. Why can't he just do it? Why must Blizzard PR interfere with something so fucking stupid? Right? It's literally sitting down and having a conversation. Having a chat about the thing that we all love, which is World of Warcraft lore. And if they need to see how I conduct these things, they can go look at the Josh Keaton interview. Did I ask any bad questions from Josh? Did I try to catch Josh on the smallest little thing? No, I just had a conversation with him. We had fun. I asked him about life as a voice actor and what it's like to voice Anduin, and what does he like about the story of Anduin? What does he like about WoW, right? That's what I want to do with Terran, but I'm not allowed to because Blizzard PR is some kind of fucking dictator. Could be the T-Man being too camera shy and making excuses. I think Terran just doesn't tell you that even they won't let it happen because it seems like he'd know if it was feasible. Parascopic, this is how every YouTuber gets the interviews. So the email that I got, every single interview that's ever been done, there's a couple of interviews. So the Preach one, for example, where Blizzard reached out to Preach. But this is literally how it's done with Blizzard. You contact PR, you tell PR you want to do the interview or the sit down, and then PR tells you, sure, this, then, you know, they'll tell you when, where, and how. The fact that they don't get back to me, I just find that a bit of a kick in the nuts because I'm not, I get it. I'm not the biggest content creator in World of Warcraft. I might be one of the smallest ones. But it's not that like I have an insignificant community. Because effectively what they're saying is the people that watch you, we don't give a fuck about them. We don't want them to see these interviews. We'd rather do the interviews with Balila, right? Which is fine. That's great. But then tell me. You're not big enough yet. Contact us when you have 100 or 150 or 200k subscribers, right? Baroscopic, if you know Terran, if you've hung out with him, you'll know he's not like that. He's not like that. He would have told me straight up. Yeah, they won't do that. Because he told me straight up about other things that I asked him. He said they won't do that. That's not going to happen. I am, Seven Raven. Literally, all I'm asking for is professional courtesy. So, for example, if Blizzard were to contact me tomorrow and say, hey, we want you to be on the content creator team, I will have the professional courtesy of telling them no thanks. Right? Even now, whenever I get emails from mobile games that wish to fucking sponsor me, I always reply. I don't just ignore it. I always reply and I go, no, thank you. I don't play mobile games. I will not fucking do a sponsor for a mobile game on my videos. This is not gonna happen, right? Mike, how you doing, brother? I'm not a professional though, Seven Raven. I mean, if I'm a professional, the world is in trouble. But Elune could be the one whispering in everyone's ear, and for an upstart, she certainly moves pretty quick to be everywhere in all things. True. Bomo, how you doing, brother? Good. I don't understand how anyone works at a company with so much gridlock. I think the old guard, people like Terran, they still hold on to the memory of what Blizzard was, right? They still hold on to the memory of what Blizzard was. And maybe they still think that Blizzard could be that again one day. Can it? Sure. I find it difficult to see how, but it can definitely happen, right? As hard as the WoW community is on them right now, I kind of see why they don't want to chat. Even if they did pre-approved questions, the community would shit on them for dodging the real issues. Lucky Penguin, so the argument that you're making there is a valid one, but it's one that's been created by Blizzard themselves. So, who's everyone's favorite WoW content creator? It's Akalon. Kenny Hasloops, thank you very much. I'd really appreciate that. Very happy to have you here. So this is Blizzard's ETX. How you doing? This is Blizzard's own making, right? For too long, did they treat the average player like a child, right? As if we don't understand things. For too long, have they sort of pretended like we just don't get it. This was actually something that Asmongold said when I watched his because Balila was on Allcraft last night. And I was watching sort of a short snippet of Balila on Allcraft, and Asmongold made the point. You have Ian like standing up in podcasts and going and telling the player base why they're not enjoying the game, but not in such a way as to acknowledge that they've made mistakes. No, in such a way as to say, you're not enjoying the game because you're doing it wrong. And it's like, motherfucker, there's no doing it wrong. This is a game. I play the game. I should have fun. There's no right way of playing a game. There's just playing a game and then having fun when I play the fucking game. When I play the game and I'm not having fun, that's not on me, right? That's not something that I did wrong, right? I did the right thing. I turned on my PC and I went into the game. Then I finally realized I'm not having fun here. From that point forward, if I tell you it's not fun, it's not on you to tell me that it is fun. Here is why it's fun. You don't have to explain it. If it really was fun, fun would not have to be explained. But this is the problem. Whenever any of the developers get in front of a mic or in front of a camera, so something that really pisses me off is that every single interview that the WoW developers do is without a camera. What the fuck is that? So you don't even have the courtesy to show your face to the interviewer that is asking you the questions. Why do streamers use cameras? Mate, why does streamers use cameras? Facial expressions, but what's the underlying tone of that? It's connection. It's personal. Babas is correct there. It's connection. I cannot form a connection with someone I cannot see. There are some streamers that get away with that, right? You're talking about someone like, you're talking about, what's his name again? He's like one of the largest streamers on Twitch, Lyric. Right? Lyric is one of the few people that can get away with no camera. Most streamers that try no camera fail miserably. Like they're literally two viewer Andys, right? Because I want to see the guy. I want to be able to see his expression. If there's a surprise thing, I want to go, oh shit, right? Fuck, look at his surprise. Look at his reactions to things. I want to form a connection with my streamer, with the person that I'm watching, right? You're a developer. You're going on an actual fucking show with cameras, with mics, and you go, I'll go, but not if I have my camera on. How then can I know what you're saying is true? How do you expect me to believe anything you're saying? I can't see you. You may as well sit there with a fucking piece of paper reading the answers, right? So at that point, it becomes very difficult to know whether or not they're just, so here's all of your fucking questions. We've sort of pre-worked out all of the answers. And basically the guy is just sitting there and reading the answers off of a piece of paper, right? I want to be able to see you. I want to be able to see how you formulate an opinion in your mind as I'm asking the question, and I want a real response from you, something that makes me connected. So it's Blizzard's own fault that the community is sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't right now. I made this point on Twitter yesterday, so I tweeted out yesterday. I'll quickly read you guys the tweet. This was after the stream yesterday. It just sort of felt like I had to. By the way, to everyone that's been following me over on Twitter, thank you so much. It really fucking means the world to me. I think in the last month we've gained like 150 or some shit followers on Twitter, which is insane. I don't know how Twitter works, so it's actually nice to see that people actually come out. But all right, so let me quickly read this to you guys. This is the tweet that I said that I put out last night. Dear Blizzard, I get that there is now a feeling of us versus them, and that no matter what you do, it backfires. The silence, however, is only serving to make things worse. If you don't speak to us, we are left with only speculation, which in the end only adds fuel to the raging fire. The silence in patch 9.1 left many of us with only question marks as to what is happening. Now the book release is a mess, and we are still left with nothing but question marks. So please, stop hiding and just speak to us. You might find more people willing to listen. Am I wrong? Digit, how you doing, bro? Blizzard allows the small sort of the small minority of players that will give death threats and shit like that. They allow those people to dictate company policy. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking? The vast majority of us would kill for any information. It doesn't even matter what that information may or may not be. Just give us some information. Just tell us something that's real. That we can take to the fucking bank and go, all right, this is your thinking on stuff. I made this point yesterday, so I don't want to go too deep into it. But since that's where chat has taken the conversation, I don't really have a choice. Explain to us in a monthly or weekly letter why you designed the game the way that you do. Don't think about pleasing us or any bullshit like that. Right? Don't think about what you're going to say that's going to upset the least amount of people. Give us a real explanation for why you believe the systems in World of Warcraft is necessary and why you designed the game the way that you do. At least then, people are not left speculating. At least then, we are not going, oh, they're making the systems because they don't have a fucking clue how to develop an MMO, right? And I'll say this as someone who's now been thinking on this topic for a very long time. What does the word expansion mean? What is the word expansion? What does it mean? It's to add, right? It's the addition of something. So why the fuck does Blizzard still call their new content expansions? When's the last time an expansion actually expanded the game of World of Warcraft? Selling more copies of the game. Ben Raging, how you doing? Expanding on something that already exists. Did Legion expand on anything? Legion didn't expand the game. One could argue that the last time the game was expanded through an expansion was Wrath of the Lich King. Because that was the last time that you had a coherent story building one on top of the other. And actually not even then. Because you see, Blizzard very early on fell into the biggest trap for themselves. You see, from actually the very... actually, I'm lying. Blizzard have never had an actual expansion in their lives. Blizzard have only ever had subtractions. So, if you guys say that WoD is an expansion of the game, Adelia, how you doing? Here's the problem. All of the content in WoD pales in comparison to all of the content that was made completely useless with the launch of WoD. The second WoD went live, every single part of Mist of Pandaria was completely and utterly useless. Every single part of Cataclysm was completely and utterly useless. Every single part of Wrath of the Lich King became completely and utterly useless, and every single part of TBC and Classic became completely and utterly useless. Therefore, WoD is not an expansion of the game. WoD is simply a new game. Now, compare this to something like Final Fantasy. Every expansion is quite literally an expansion of the game. None of the systems disappear from the previous expansions. None of the levels disappear from previous expansions. None of the power levels disappear from previous expansions. The only thing they do is they keep adding new things. The problem with World of Warcraft is every expansion reduces everything that's already been released to ash and then brings out something brand new. Waldron, so when it comes to DLCs, what we're probably talking about is games as a service, right? So live service gaming and stuff like that. And you're correct. But that's why they call them DLCs and generally not expansions, right? Because they are digital content. There's brand new content, for example. Aureus, okay, so what would you like me to... So... You're sick of the Final Fantasy comparisons, okay? Would you like us to pretend that Final Fantasy doesn't exist? Or do you mean you're sick of it because you wish Blizzard would do better? Or it's okay, I can use something like, for example, Elder Scrolls Online. Because their expansions do very much the same thing. Elder Scrolls Online, the dungeons never disappear. Dungeons from the beginning to the end is like you can do all of the dungeons at max level the same as you would when they were current, right? They also very rarely remove content from the game. They do it more than Final Fantasy though. Like, there are some content that is completely and utterly removed from the game or effectively made useless in the game. But it's still, ESO is still a very good example of a game that adds to it. It does not remove from it. My problem with World of Warcraft is simply that they... expansions are not expansions in World of Warcraft. They are subtractions. They subtract from the content and they simply add a brand new game. Which I wish Blizzard would stop doing. And they have all of the tools. They have all of the tools, chat. Let me be clear. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Blizzard could release a brand new expansion today without developing a single new system. I'll say that again. Blizzard can develop and release a brand new expansion without developing a single new system. And it would feel fresh, it would feel fun, it would be everything the players want. How do they do that, chat? They go look at all of the systems that they've discarded over the last decade. Go back to Mist of Pandaria. What systems worked in Mist of Pandaria? The farm. Lots of people love the farm. So, bring back the farm. Update it. Do something new with it. In fact, you go so far as to expand the farm to the point where you can place your farm in any zone that you choose. Right? Takes a small little quest for you to pick up a quest and then go to whichever zone you want to go to, and bam, you put your farm down there, right? Now the farm becomes an updated part of the game. And imagine all of the things that you could do with a farm. Like, just imagine quickly all of the things that you could do with a farm. I would argue that first and foremost, you could tie in literal professions to those farms. So cooking is an obvious one that goes with the farm. You can even do tailoring with the farm, right? So whenever you harvest certain food types or ingredients, it gives you certain fibers. If you take those fibers to a tailorer, the tailor will actually be able to make you actual farming gear. The farming gear will allow for bigger yields and stuff like that, right? Now you have a farm. You could even allow farmers to go out into the world and capture wild animals. So they go to Shadowlands, for example, and they capture 2 of a specific animal. And if you have 2 of a specific animal, they will procreate. And you can use the sort of offspring to sell on the auction house for people to skin and use the meat in their cooking, right? So now you don't just need to go out and farm animals, like literally just slaughter a bunch of animals. You can literally farm them in your farm, right? And the farm will be updated every single fucking expansion with new shit, new additions, new storylines, things like that. Let's go to the next expansion, Warlords of Draenor. We can all agree that Warlords of Draenor had almost no good systems, right? We could all agree Warlords of Draenor did not have plenty of good systems. But the garrison is not a complete waste, because the garrison, just in the expansion after that, actually became something that a lot of people loved. Became class order rolls. So what if we were to say, how could we merge the class order roll with the garrison? How could we do something with class order rolls to bring them back into the game and give players a class order roll that's always theirs? Well, how about a class order roll where you can choose to put certain things in your class order roll to make your life a little bit easier, right? Graveload, how you doing, bro? Happy to have you here. So imagine you have your class order roll. The class order roll is going to give you all of the quests that you require in order to unlock new abilities and new powers for your class, right? But you also have the ability to maybe put a vendor in there, maybe put an auction house in there. And every player can choose their own. So if you chose to put an auction house in your class order roll and maybe a bank, but another player decided, wait, I want a smith in my class order roll and I want a leather worker in my class order roll, he can do that too, right? You can do that. You're not going to be able to see each other when you're inside your auction house. You won't be able to see the people that don't have an auction house. But as soon as you run out, you see all of your classmates hanging out. So you find ways to combine these and bring them forward, right? Bring them into whatever the next expansion may be. So let's take another look at what expansions came after that. Let's start thinking in terms of Legion. What is a system in Legion that you guys love that you think could be kept up to date in modern day World of Warcraft? Orkane, how you doing? Mage Tower is a good idea. But maybe we don't just want to add a Mage Tower. Maybe we feel the Mage Tower itself had quite a lot of, shall we say, limitations to them, right? The Mage Tower had limitations. So what if we were to say, can we combine the Mage Tower with something like Torghast? And when I say combine it, I do mean take everything that made the Mage Tower great and fix Torghast with it. So we take the Mage Tower. We say, what was the Mage Tower? It was a cosmetic only place. All right. So we're going to take Torghast and we're going to turn it into cosmetic only. It's going to be a cosmetic only thing. But we're going to make it challenging, because that's one of the reasons people love the Mage Tower. It was challenging. You had to really have your wits about you. Imagine if every single boss in Torghast was on the level of the encounter that you had in Mage Tower. Just imagine if every single end floor boss in Torghast was on the level of the encounter that you had in the Mage Tower. Then all of a sudden, all of those powers that you're collecting is going to become very handy, right? Yeah, but Saving Raven, doesn't matter how long it takes. There's no power there. If you go into Torghast, there's no power. There's no power level. You're not increasing your... So there's no soul ash. There's no legendaries being made from this tower. This is just a place where you sort of hang out and find cosmetics. Right? So the bosses have the ability to... The bosses have the ability to drop mounts. The bosses have the ability to drop cosmetic items. The bosses have shit all over the place. But it gets better. You can actually save your Torghast run. And you could do it on sort of a... you could do what Final Fantasy does, which is every 10 levels is saved. So if you fail in the span of 10 levels, you have to start over with those 10 levels, right? Or you could do it on a, say, death counter thing, right? So you have a maximum of, say, 10 or 15 deaths. If you exhaust all of those deaths, you have to start over, right? You start from scratch. So as long as you can ensure that you don't die more than 15 times, you can keep saving... You can keep saving your run as much as humanly possible, right? It really is up to you. You can go whichever way you want with that. Suddenly, Torghast becomes a feature that can stay forever, right? Suddenly, Torghast is a feature that you can play for the rest of time. I will never stop playing Torghast. Just gonna be straight up honest with you guys. Then you take the talent system that Blizzard have just introduced in Torghast, and you expand it. You literally make a talent system for every single spec. Not spec, every single class. So you make an actual talent system, and here's actually something that I think I would do even more of. I would remove specs in Torghast. Instead, you are your class. So when you go into Torghast, you start with maybe 1 or 2 abilities. Every single time you level up or you gain powers, you unlock more abilities. Eventually, you're like this massive affliction, destruction, demonology hybrid thing, right? You take the best of all of your specs and you just sort of play all of these specs together, right? Because now it also allows you, whatever powers you get inside Torghast will discern which build you're going to run with. It's not actually, Manius one, it's not, modern specs are not too overcomplicated for that. Not for this specific thing. Because the powers that I get is going to dictate which spec I'm playing with. So for example, if I get the as a warlock, if I get the early power of my demon actually gaining 100% increased health and 100% increased damage every floor that I go up, I'm probably going to want to play with that demon. So I'm going to choose that demon as my tank. Now, for example, I get the ability that increases the damage of my corruption by 100%, right? All right, so I definitely want corruption on my bar, right? I definitely want corruption on my bar. Next ability I get is it increases my Seed of Corruption fucking damage by 100%. Now I want Seed of Corruption on my bar as well. Right? So the powers that you get dictates which abilities you're going to be using in Torghast. Going back to classes instead of specs might not be a bad idea, not just in Torghast. No, I think in Torghast is the only place that it will work right now. I agree with you that it would be nice if they did it in the big game, like in the bigger game, but I don't think they ever will. So you'd have to redo your action bars every Torghast run. Mr. McFunPants, it's not that you redo your entire bar. It's that you place the abilities on your bar as you want to use them, right? So the abilities is inside you start basically with a clean fucking slate, right? You start with a clean, like the entire UI is clean. Because you only have a limited amount of powers when you start off. So basically what I'm talking about is a Torghast with a leveling system. It's a unique hotbar only for Torghast. Right? It's a UI that exists only in Torghast. Pretty much like Torghast works now, right? If you switch out abilities right now in Torghast, if you move them around on your hotbars, they reset the second you leave it, right? So effectively what you have in this Torghast run is you have a talent tree that exists purely for Torghast, right? And this is the talent tree that you upgrade over time, so you put more talents into things that you really fucking enjoy. So you make your own build within Torghast. It's your build. It's something that's unique. And that build is never going to work in the real world, right? If you leave Torghast, there's no way you could ever use that build. Mainly because you wouldn't have access to all of the abilities. But in Torghast, you build like this monster fucking thing. So imagine for a second if you could have powers in there that every single time your agony does damage, it actually increases the casting speed of your Chaos Bolt by, say, 2%, right? But it also increases the damage of your Chaos Bolt by 5%. Suddenly, you have Affliction Warlocks running around with Chaos Bolt. Once it goes to fucking free instant cast Chaos Bolt that hits like a truck, they hit the button, and there goes a Chaos Bolt that absolutely destroys whatever is in its path, right? How many people would actually have fun playing around with all of the different abilities, playing around with all of the different combinations of abilities that they can have in Torghast, and then truly no two runs would ever look the same? Because you can't know which powers you're going to get. You could get powers the one time that makes your Chaos Bolt super overpowered, but the next time you could get powers that make your Demon super overpowered, but your Chaos Bolt hits like a fucking noodle, right? Proc that gives you Chaos Bolt no cost time. Anything like that, right, becomes something that I think could be really fun. Now, I could obviously go into a lot more detail to actually flesh out this argument, but the point was that you could bring that back. And now I'm looking, my next system that I'm looking at is the Brawlers Guild. If there has ever been a system in, World of Warcraft that did not receive the love to live up to the capabilities that it had, it would be the Brawlers Guild. The way Blizzard handled the Brawlers Guild is an absolute disgusting system. The Brawlers Guild should have been a system in and of itself with its own gearing, its own talent tree. Again, very much like a Torghast, except where Torghast have different floors with traps and mobs and shit, the Brawlers Guild is a boss-only fight. So you could turn the Brawlers Guild effectively into the Mage Tower. And you could use bosses from the raids, scaled down so one person can kill them. But these are bosses from raiding. So you could face Arthas in the Brawlers Guild, right? You could face someone like Arthas in the Brawlers Guild. And you'd have to figure out how to deal with Arthas. We do, yes. Is there a reason why Bayer is saying bye? New old Destruction Warlock, Shadowbolt and Soulfire that would hit a truck amount of damage again. So I think people are getting hung up on the individual sort of the individual nuances of the systems that I'm describing. The discussion that we're having here is about how do you add to the game when you launch new expansions rather than remove from the game. This is what expansions do these days. And the answer is, it's already in the game. Blizzard doesn't have to go look for brand new systems to build their game. All of the systems that they need is already in the game. They just need to update them. They just need to bring them back. That's it. There's no need to go out and be more creative than is necessary. Just bring back the old stuff that worked, that people truly loved. And see where that leaves you. And guess what? Every single expansion, you have a team of people that work on the Brawlers Guild. You have a team of people that work on the farm. You have a team of people that work on the class order rolls. You have a team of people that work on Torghast. And every single expansion, these things launch with an incredible amount of new content. Because that's all that team works on. They don't do anything else. They don't have to think about brand new fucking systems that they sort of have to pull out of their ass into the ether, right? All they ever do, all they ever think about is developing new Torghast floors, that's even more complex and even more difficult to explore, right? And new bosses that is absolute menaces to take down. All the farm people are doing is they're thinking about making the farm even better next expansion. So they're adding, for 2 years, all they're doing is they're adding new things to the farm. How many of you think that that would be a fun World of Warcraft expansion? Grimal, thank you for the first time chat, dude. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Class order holes were a great thing. I think they just ran out of story for them, and that's the problem these days with WoW. They need to add little stories that have nothing to do with the main story, side quests that give you cosmetics. I agree. They should definitely utilize their side quests more. Jag and I did. We discussed it yesterday. If you want to see the VOD for yesterday's stream, where we discussed basically all of that, it's on YouTube. You can find the link to that in the panels below. It's on Twitch here as well, but a lot of people prefer watching the VODs on YouTube. So actually, no, that VOD will not yet be on YouTube. Excuse me. That VOD will only be available tomorrow. Sorry, I'm not allowed to, like, within 24 hours, upload to a different channel or a different platform. So that VOD will be available tomorrow afternoon, around about 2 o'clock. So check back there tomorrow, 2 o'clock. You'll find it there. Raphael, how you doing? The mission table was absolutely atrocious. The fact that the mission table still exists baffles me. Is there anyone in this chat that likes the mission table? The mission table does not add any feel of enjoyment to the game. As someone that cares about story and the lore and questing and stuff like that, all I see when I look at the mission table is quests that I'm not allowed to do. Sleepers, you have a massive boner. Can't help you there, bro. But if you took your hand and you did sort of a weird little motion with it, it would take care of that. Also, the fact that you're coming into a Twitch stream and sort of wanting to let people know that you have a massive boner, that's an interesting thing. That's a very interesting thing. You can call the Arbiter the vanished one. Player housing containing your wardrobe, your stables. Oh, player housing would be so fucking great. I liked it in Legion when we could farm marks of honor. I don't mind today because it's easy. Repsol, Ash, Cinders. Zofia, the problem is that it doesn't add to the game. So, not minding something should be a reason to remove it from the game. When the vast majority of your players don't like the system and the other half don't mind it, then that should not be in the game. Right? Because at that point, it's not fun. It's not like you have a bunch of people that goes, oh my god, I can't wait to get to my mission table every day. The mission table is the most engaging content I have in WoW, right? You literally have two groups of people that go, one goes, I fucking hate this. The other goes, I don't mind it. Well, now's the time to remove that system then. Because the only thing that a player should say about a system is, I love this. This is a great system.
If player housing is implemented, I want my house to be like a flashlight floating in space, with 3 floors, and a robot on the top floor.
66, thank you for the 10 bits, would really appreciate that. I don't know how Blizzard would implement player housing. I wish they would, though. Because I think player housing would fix... I've said this so many times now. I'm sort of sick of saying it. But player housing would fix just about everything. It would fix just about every problem that you can possibly have in World of Warcraft, because it would allow you to tie the old world into the new. It would allow casual players something to do. I genuinely don't know why it's still not a thing. Let us move and expand on my garrison. Zofia, thank you for the 5 community subs. Really appreciate that. Can we get some love and chat for Zofia? She is, by the way, one of the biggest gifters on the channel. So she definitely deserves a lot of love from all of you in chat. Happy Friday to you as well, Sophia. And I think it's about time that we make you your own emote as well, Sophia. I think you deserve your own emote. Let's just quickly see her. I'm pretty sure you deserve an emote of your own. Just quickly see her. Top gifters, yes. Well, I'll put it to chat. You guys can decide. Do you because I definitely think so. But do you think at 186 gifted subs for the channel, do you guys agree that Sophia deserves her own emote? Good. Good chat. Good. Because I agree as well. I will definitely put it to Furorius to come up with Furorius. He can't make his own emote. He needs to get at least twice that if he wants his own emote. But no, I'll put Furorius to work so we can get Sophia an emote. Sophia, DM me on Discord what initial you would want your emote to be as. Mary, I can't give Furorius his own. Furorius is the one who designs the emotes. Jamanio, how you doing? I take an expansion called Azeroth update to fun features. So Furorius can't have his own. He's already making all the memes for the channel, so he gets more than enough recognition. That's his payment. I could get him to do that. Raphael, so we did speak about Elune yesterday, but there's something very weird about Elune. If you read the book, or the new things that's just come out, because no one can read the fucking book, but if you look at the book, you sort of realize that okay, so the brokers say that a being of Elune's origins cannot under any circumstances be trusted. Which means whatever she and the Winter Queen is not the same. Get a mother cunt emote? If I could do it, I fucking would. But I'm not. So you're not actually allowed to do initials on your emotes. So, for example, if you take a look at our Macmillan emote, right? So if we use this Macmillan emote, if you take the Macmillan emote, it's sort of a skull with an M on top of it, but the M can't be alone. So you have to sort of find ways around that, because if you just do initial things, people can start spelling out horrible words. So Twitch sort of stops that from happening. For Thundercunt emote, imagine in a new expansion, there's new things to find and do among the earlier zones with AI that can generate quests around them with old NPCs. So AI generated quests, I don't necessarily know if it's ever going to work, right? I think AI generated questing could just turn into a complete mess. But the old world can be brought back without the use of massive quests, right? Just by adding things. So, for example, if you had a player housing system or even a class order hall system where things could drop from older bosses and older mobs that you could use in order to, you know, prop up your house or something, that would bring people back into the old game anyways, right? What games are you playing now, Akko? Adelia, I play a lot of Final Fantasy. Like, a lot of Final Fantasy, and I'm sort of on the fence buying Baldur's Gate. All right, Sophia, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Let me just quickly see. Arnold had a message that he wanted me to read as well, so let me just quickly check it.
You look like you've lost some weight. That's terrible. have a dumpling.
I don't think AI-generated quests will work. I don't think we have an AI that's smart. It probably needs an AI like the Vanished One to generate good quests.
Yeah, but how would you even do that, though? Arnold, so first and foremost, to yours, that won't be necessary. I already have the folk and fairy tale stuff. I'm just literally waiting for them to deliver the physical book to me. One of the reasons I've not really made a lot of videos on folks and fairy tales is because of it is folks and fairy tales, right? Most of those stories in there, it doesn't really relate to the real world, right? As for the other book, The Grimoire of the Shadowlands and Beyond, I'm still looking to find somewhere, but I'm sure I will eventually find somewhere where I can get a digital copy for it. So it's not necessary, but thank you so much for the offer. Really appreciate that, dude. Sophia, I really appreciate that, and okay, I will keep the initial in mind. I'll tell Ferorius to do something special with that. But yes, I mean, 3 years is a long time. Can I just quickly ask in chat? Because I know Sophia has been here now for 3 years. How long have most of you been watching my channel? From what you can remember, you guys can do the follow thing if you really want to, but how long have you guys been watching this channel? I would disagree about folks and fairy tales not affecting the real world. Fairy tales are just history. We've forgotten. Waldron, I'm talking about the fairy tales in the book. In the book, there's about 4 or 5 fairy tales that sort of relate to some of the lore that we know. A lot of them seemingly, unless Blizzard brings out new things that could tie into them. So I do think that book can help in the future. I think that book is going to provide us with a lot of things. But right now, a lot of those stories seemingly doesn't matter, right? Yuku, how you doing? 2 weeks, but YouTube for a few months now? Nice. 3 years, 2 months, 8 days. Jesus. It's insane to me that there's so many of you fuckers that's been here for years now. Am I truly interesting enough to keep you guys entertained every day for fucking 3 years? Seriously. You tune in every single day for a stream, and you never get fucking tired of me. Best dude, how you doing, bro? More interesting than WoW, I'd say. That's not necessarily a great compliment, Benny Swan. Razor Connor, because I sort of think 3 years is a long time. 3 years is a long time for a relationship. If you're dating someone for 3 years, right, spending almost every day with them, you generally will get bored unless you get married, right? So that's a long fucking time. But no, I'm happy to have all of you here. Andy, and by the way, you can go fuck yourself. You're a mod of the channel and you're bored? How's that work? I mean, asshole by questioning your brilliance. I mean, I think this is something that all content creators do. There's no getting around imposter syndrome as a content creator. You genuinely question always your relevance and whether or not you should even continue doing what you're doing. That's something that I don't think you get away from. So yeah, I can't not question it. But I like the fact that I keep questioning it because it keeps helping me come up with new ways of entertainment. I'm a first-time viewer here. Yes, Moni, you are. You are indeed. By the way, how's the new job that you've been doing for at least a few months now? How did I know about that, I wonder? That is just a silly question. I want to see more confidence in you, Bucko. We love you. I love you, bruh. You make want to try to give us and make it better. You sell what they've been selling, more interesting. Razor Connor, I really appreciate that, and it is what I'm trying to do, right? It is what I'm trying to do. My entire focus is on making the story as good as humanly possible. The lore speculation is literally all we actually have. It's interesting that the game have reached that point now where more people tune in for the speculation of the lore than people actually tune in for the lore. Just based on my own channel, the amount of people that no longer play WoW but still watch the channel because they love the lore is insane. You're entertaining. If you weren't, we wouldn't be here. True. Or you guys just love torturing yourself. That's also a possibility, right? Killzors, how you doing? Because you make it interesting? It's not hard to make it interesting. Because okay, so World of Warcraft, or Warcraft, had a giant influence on my life, right? I fell in love with Warcraft as a very young kid. Very, very young kid. So, World of Warcraft was part of the stories that I dreamt about as a child. When normal kids play fucking Dungeons or Dragons, you know, Slay the Dragon, my playing was in World of Warcraft. I remember as a young kid, I used to pretend fight Arthas. So, you know, like with a stick, and you sort of pretend like you're fighting Arthas because he just fucked up the orcs, or you know, the undead or whatever mission I was playing at the time. So, actually, I used to pretend, like, at some point I started to pretend to be Arthas and then just sort of slaughter everything in my path. But as a young kid, I was like 7 or 8, I think. So it's, yeah, I have such a long relationship with the story of World of Warcraft. It's insane. Saved Arthas in a dream. I don't play WoW. Why not, Adelia? Seven Raven, I think that's one of the reasons World of Warcraft still exists to this day. Even with all of their faults and all of their mistakes, I think it's one of the only reasons it still exists, is because it's been such a huge part of so many of our lives, right? It's been such a huge part of our childhood. It's been such a huge part of adulthood even, right? And especially when you go to World of Warcraft, many of us made some of our best friends in World of Warcraft. So World of Warcraft have some very real implications for a lot of people, which is sort of one of the things that I wish Blizzard would take a little bit more seriously and understand that we're not just customers. We're not just customers. And they used to be not just a gaming company. Maybe phrase it to them that way. Can't hurt. If they even fucking read my shit. The issue is they've become... So you guys remember we went through the Mark Kern stuff, right? The guy who used to be the lead developer on World of Warcraft and then sort of left the company to start his own company. Do you guys remember us reading that? You see, the developers can't help themselves, because I genuinely believe that the developers do not play WoW anymore. The vast majority. I'm not saying all of them. I do think the old guard still play World of Warcraft, but I think the newer developers, like the new kids just coming out of college, joining Blizzard Entertainment, I think they couldn't give two fucks. They don't play the game. They just make it, right? And that's it. That's all they can do. Balila actually had this very cool thing on the Shill Show. Not the Shill Show. On the Allcraft Show, where he said, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? Which is exactly what the problem is with World of Warcraft. When you have these new kids coming in and their job is to create systems, to a system designer, everything looks like a future system, right? And so what do you expect from them? Because they don't play the game, right? They don't play the game. So how would they know whether something is fun or not? Snell and Blizzard the Hammer. Bubba said it has more to do with the mindset, right? So new people that go to university to sort of learn how to code and make games, they are taught how to make games the way that mobile game companies do it, right? So they're taught from very early on that it's all about the metrics, it's all about the money, it's all about engagement numbers. So to them, everything will be designed through that lens. That's how they will look at the world. And this is not a Blizzard thing only. This is a AAA issue in general. The AAA gaming companies no longer design games for gamers. They design games for metrics. It's noticeable in every single game. Mobile guy said, we make games we want. I believe him. They're all middle-aged with kids and a nice paying job. They don't have time for anything beyond a mobile game. Wild Boy, so I don't believe when they say we make games we want. I don't believe that. The Saiyan God, thank you very much for the Prime sub, dude. Really fucking appreciate that. 4 months in a row. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is it that time of the month again? Saying, God, I guess so. It's time for you to give me your money. Hand it over, bitch. I don't believe them, but I think they believe themselves. I do believe that they believe themselves. They do believe that they're making the games that they want. The problem is, from what angle? What's the perspective? What's the focus? Because the focus, as far as I can tell, is to engage, is to have engaging content. Now, if your focus is on engagement, your content by definition will not be engaging. Your content will simply force engagement. You see, your focus needs to be on the content being engaging. And for that to happen, the content must be fun. So they are really making games that they want. They're not making good games, right? They're making the games that they want, and he's not lying. The problem is their focus is wrong. It's completely fucking wrong. Holy shit, Adelia. Coming in with 5 community subs. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you for giving me your money. Thank you for listening. Thank you for obeying. I appreciate it. Can we get some love in chat for Adelia and the 5 community subs? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I played every single WoW expansion for at least a few months. Sometimes I play launch, quit for a patch, and come back for the final patch. You're not alone on that anymore. You are not alone on that anymore. Adelia, I really appreciate it. I remember the days where you were still sort of struggling, so I'm really happy that it's going well. How are you liking your new job, Adelia? I've not actually asked you this yet. Wake Up Norman, how you doing, brother? Batchy McPatch, how you doing, bro? Thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Are you enjoying your new job? I know you struggled to get a job in Greece. Is things looking better now? I always fucking love that. First and foremost, I do love the fact that I'm getting money. Don't get me wrong. I am a greedy little bitch. Not even going to deny it. I am a goblin IRL. I'll take all the money you can give me. But what I love more than that, is when someone steps out of their issues and things actually get better. And there's a few people in this stream that I know that was down in the dumps. Just the other day, someone, like a year ago, someone on Patreon sent me a DM. And they basically lost their job. They couldn't support the channel anymore, but they just wanted me to know that that's why they're leaving. And I was like, dude, no problem. You know, take care of you and yours. And they just resubbed about a month ago. They found a new job. It's an amazing job. It has a lot of prospect. Everyone knows that feeling, and it's a good fucking feeling, right? It's a great feeling when you can finally look at your life and go, things are moving in the right fucking direction again, right? Things are finally moving in the right direction again. It's horrible when it doesn't, but it's a great feeling when you finally pick yourself up by your bootstraps and go, fuck it. Let's take this. I have lots of fun there, but I still get 650 euros only. Adelia, just stick with it and keep getting better. Get yourself in the position where... So this is actually something that my brother did at his company, right? So my brother works for he's basically the CEO for a very big analytics firm, right? They do information analytics, data analytics, and data gathering, right? But what he did when he first started doing it, he has a degree in mathematics and he's busy doing his doctorate in mathematics, yeah? He knew nothing of coding, anything like that. But as soon as he started at the company, he basically taught himself everything. Like, he went into Python and he learned how to code in Python, like how to code beyond what is normal. Microsoft has this thing. I can't remember what it's called now. He told me this before. Because they use the Microsoft platform, but I'm trying to remember the name of the thing, of the exact platform. But it's also like a coding platform on Microsoft. It's like an analytical thing. You can do analytics and data analysis on that. Marco, thank you for the follow, dude. Really fucking appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Names are not my forte, no. I'm very bad with names. Even IRL. I will remember someone always. Azure, that's the one. They use Azure as the sort of network, but then they use a different program with Azure to actually do the data analysis. What the fuck is that program called? I know there's a couple of them. But I can't remember what it's called. I'm trying to look now. Adelia, thank you for the gift. It's up. Really fucking appreciate it. Wild boy, you should not have done that. We have a rule on this channel. No one is allowed to give Wild Boy subs. The motherfucker has been subbed for a year. And he's never actually paid his own fucking money for it. Just to be clear, look at that. Just subscribed for 12 months in a row. A year. And he's never taken out a fucking penny on this channel. You've broken the rules, Adelia. I guess rules are made to be broken, but it's still a rule. I can't believe this. This motherfucker has a year worth of subs on this channel. And he's never paid a fucking penny for it. The guy's going to get a 2-year badge soon, and he's never going to have to pay for it. It's insane to me. What's that program called? Fuck me. It is Azure, but they use something else. Fuck it, I'm finding out now. Screw it. Fucking phone, bro. Jesus, why is my phone so slow? I don't know. I don't know why. I hate messages. Now he's not gonna answer because he's in the fucking shop. Now he's not gonna answer, he's in the shops, I think. Because they just left work. I fucking hate messages. I'm not messaging. I'm doing a voice note. Fuck it. Hold up. I'm going to WhatsApp. It's gonna take too long. This is why I like calling. Because I get immediate fucking answers. Hey, Jock. Hoor hierso, wat is die program wat julle gebruik om te code op Azure? Ek weet jy het al vir my gesê, jy doen Python, maar jy doen ook iets anders. Wat is die ander program wat jy gebruik? As jy my net gou kan message asseblief, dankie. Alright, there we go. See, now it's gonna take fucking forever for me to get an answer. Which sucks dick. I like calling. I like calling. I like just going, screw it. Quick fucking call, find out what I need to find out, and then stop. And why am I a boomer for phoning? You say donkey at the end? I say donkey. Donkey means thanks, right? So donkey, which is Dankie. Donkey, which means thank you. Yeah. It's not Visual Studio. It's like it's got a 3-letter abbreviation, I think. I think it has a 3-letter, not Dankey, Donkey. So it's not K-E-Y, it's K-I-E. E-Y is not a letter combination. So, yeah, donkey. Foul Smoke did it right. Danke would be Dutch, I think. Guys, I'm fucking losing my mind with this. I want to know what this shit is called. Azure is the... Thank you for the chills. I heard you speaking Afrikaans and remembered my friend from a long time ago. Thanks, Akalon. Also, I like your law speculations. Marco, thank you very much. Did really appreciate that. Is Danke is German? Isn't South African like a combination of English, Dutch, German, and some other stuff? Wildren, so it's not South African. You'll piss off a lot of South Africans if you say that. Because South Africa have 11 official languages, of which Afrikaans is the smallest one. Like there's only like 1.5, 1.7 million people speaking Afrikaans in South Africa. So it is the smallest of all of the languages, but it's called Afrikaans. Because South African, there's no South African language. I guess the most South African language you get is English, because it's sort of the business language of South Africa is English. But yeah, officially we have 11 languages. Unofficially, it's probably closer to fucking 20. I think you use this in order to do your shit on Azure. So they use this program, and then they use Azure as the hosting service, I think. I think so. Maybe I can just Google their website. Maybe the website tells me. It's called Dravatic. Dravatic. Is this their business website? Yes, this is their website. Trying to see if they've got BI. Power BI, that's the fucking one. Oh my god, I remember now. Power BI, PBI. I remember it now. So he basically, to get back to the story that I wanted to tell before I fucking forgot every single name that I could forget. When my brother started out, he knew nothing of Power BI. He knew nothing of Python, but he taught himself everything, right? So he made sure that he now knows even more than his boss, right? So even the directors, if they want to know how to do something, they come to him. Everyone comes to him to figure out, how do you do this? Like, what do you do? So basically what he's done is he's made himself irreplaceable, right? Now, that is sort of what you want to do. So Delia, you said earlier that they only pay you €650. What you want to do is you want to make yourself irreplaceable. If you learn how to do something so well that no one else can do it and people have to come to you in order to do it, they're going to be... So he gets raises like 3 or 4 times a year, my brother, just because they can't lose him. They can't afford to lose him. So, you know, if there is such a possibility, obviously, but I think there's a possibility like that in almost every job. Even a waiter can become irreplaceable if they do the job so well that customers absolutely fucking love them. You know, and they're fast, they're efficient, they go above and beyond. I don't think there's a single job in the world that you can't become absolutely irreplaceable with. And contrary to popular belief, most bosses actually notice that shit. Like, most bosses actually care. And I know their company is doing very well now, by the way. This is a South African-based data analysis company, and I think they just signed like a giant Canadian pharmaceutical company that's now using them as the data analysis platform. And I think they've also got a few US mines that's also now moving in to try and do work with them. So they're pretty big, I think. I can't speak Khoisan, but also Khoisan almost no longer exists. So, by the way, there's a huge issue when people say Khoisan, because those are two different people. The Khoi and the San people, right? The Khoi is one culture. The San people is a different culture. Now, they eventually started intermarrying, right? So that's where people come to Khoisan, but it's still not, so their language wasn't identical. They had different languages. They were very different. But most of the Khoisan no longer really exist today. And I can technically speak Khoisan because most Khoi people in South Africa speak Afrikaans. Because at the time when the Dutch arrived here, there was like a lot of marrying in between, right? Where they would marry the San people and they would marry the Khoi people. So that's why if you go to Cape Town, there's like a giant, like a massive community of colored people. And I know in the rest of the world, you guys think colored is somehow racist. That's what they call themselves. So mixed race people. But most of them speak Afrikaans as well, right? Because they have sort of parents or grandparents that's white and the mother might be San or Khoi. So they're sort of in Cape Town because that's where most of that happened. Tips for restaurant serving or no? Like in Europe, we do give tips, yes. So in South Africa, waiters do not receive a wage. There's no wage for waiters. And there's been restaurants that sort of wanted to implement wages, and waiters usually say no. It's one of the other reasons why most waiters do not become managers in South Africa, because if you're a manager, you get a salary, you no longer get tips. So people prefer to get the tips because they can make so much more fucking money. Like most waiters in South Africa will earn anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000, depending on the restaurant that they're working at. But yeah, I know of waiters that make about anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 a month, working every day and working long hours, but they make really good fucking money because they don't get paid, and everyone knows that. Right? So if you step into a restaurant, you're well aware that this person does not get paid for their work there. You are their pay. So everyone will always give a tip. I don't know a single person that will not tip. The difference becomes how much did I like the job that you were doing, right? So if I didn't much like what you were doing, I'll maybe give you 10% tip. The average, what most people will give is 20%. Like most people will give a 20% tip. But if I really liked you, so I've done this in the past. Let's say my meal comes out to 100. I'll give you 200 and I'll say keep it. So I'll give you 100% tip, especially if the waiter is really good. So usually most waiters are very good because that's how they get their money. So my usual tip is usually anywhere from 50 to 100%, depending obviously on the price. If I'm going to eat for 1,000 Rand, or $100, I'm not going to give you a fucking $100 tip. But yeah, that base salary is a crime here. You see, the reason most waiters in South Africa would reject a base salary immediately is because as soon as people know that waiters are paid, they will stop tipping. Right? So they don't want that. They want the tips because you can make far more from tips than what you can make from a salary. Because here's the thing: if I go into a restaurant and they tell me these waiters are paid, that's it. No tip. You're already getting paid, motherfucker. Your pay is literally worked into my fucking food. So I'm not going to pay on top of that. I'm already paying your salary because, guess what? If you're paying salaries to your waiters, you're automatically making your food more expensive because that salary has to come from somewhere. So I'm already paying your fucking salary. I'm not then going to tip you on top of that. But if I know you're not getting a salary, then I'm going to tip you, because now I know that it's my job to do so. I'm getting the food for cheaper, but it is my job to tip. It's sort of standard in South Africa. I like I said, I don't know a single person that wouldn't tip. Most waiters pay almost no taxes because it's impossible to know, right? So most waiters here pay very little, if any, tax. And also the tax system is sort of worked out that they can basically claim everything back because it is commission work. So yeah. Trickstar, no. No. No restaurant will ever automatically charge you a tip. It's also very rare. So usually when you have, like, whenever we go out and we're sort of more than 6 people, we'll have split bowls anyways. Like, waiters will always ask you, would you like to split the bowl? And then, so, because, say, if I go out now with my brothers and my cousins, for example, and our friends, I will have my own bowl, my brother will have his own bowl, my cousins will have their own bowls. Everyone has their own bowl. So the waiters sort of just, like, there could be 12 bowls for a single table, right? And everyone just pays their tip at the end of it. I've never gone to a place where I go, yeah, put everyone's on the same bowl. I don't want to sit there afterwards and sort of work out who pays what. I want to be able to get up and say, right, I'll pay 20% extra for you, and then leave. There's actually only some places in the USA when I worked, it had to be stated on the bill that 18% was gratuity for parties of 6 or more. You see, I think, personally, I think it should be a choice. That's my personal opinion. I don't think the government should be involved in that. I think a waiter should have a choice, right? So a waiter should be able to say, well, I want a salary, I don't want the tips. And then that's what they should get. I don't think it should come from the government. I don't think the government should be allowed to tell a company, you must pay them. Because, like I said, in South Africa, that would cause an outcry like you've never fucking seen before. Although I must say, a lot of what I'm talking about now is me talking about what I know from a long time ago. I don't know if the rules have changed since, but as far as I know, it hasn't. Because there's no restaurants where they say that the waiters are being paid a salary. And I spoke to a waiter not too long ago, and they still only rely on tips, so... Now, I don't mind... You see, I personally believe peer pressure or social pressure is the only thing that actually engages change. Just to be... Now that we're getting into a bit more of a serious topic, I do apologize for everyone that just want to chill out on a Friday. For example, I have a very big issue with sin taxes. Because sin taxes do not achieve what they say they want to achieve. You guys know what sin taxes are, right? It might be called something different in your country, but everyone should know what sin taxes are. Or should I explain that? So sin taxes is what is charged on cigarettes, alcohol. The government puts an incredible amount of taxes on what they would call sins. In South Africa, it's called a sins tax. It could be vice taxes. They don't actually achieve what the government sets out to achieve. There is zero evidence that taxes on cigarettes or sin taxes or vice taxes have ever reduced smoking. There's zero evidence that it's ever reduced drinking. Right? It doesn't actually reduce the things that they think it reduces. Also, the fact that it's a tax means that the government doesn't actually want to reduce it because they're getting a shit ton of money from that, right? So the government doesn't want to introduce... for example, there's this new tax that's my country now trying. It's called sugar tax. Sugar tax, I think, is implemented in about 20 countries in Europe. There's not a single country where the consumption of sugar have ever been where the consumption of sugar have ever gone down because of sugar tax. It's just made the shit more expensive. People still buy the sugary drinks, but, you know, now they just sort of get more money. The government gets more money for it. You want to know what have reduced smoking? Peer pressure. Social pressure. That's what reduces sinful behavior. You see, because nowadays, when I want to smoke, I have to go outside. So I can't join the group. I can't hang out with my friends. The vast majority of my friends have quit smoking. So if I stand anywhere near them and smoke, they usually complain. They don't want that. So people quit because of peer pressure. That's why they quit. It has fuck all to do with the government. So sin taxes is also a big... It's a stupid fucking thing. Yeah, South Africa has a sugar tax as well. Some of them. Thank you for the first time chat. Really appreciate that. Waldron, how you doing? Did you talk about the new cosmology map? Ferrum, I did. We spoke about it yesterday at length. Probably almost an hour and a half discussion on that fucking map. I'm not talking about it in detail yet because I don't have the book yet. I'm still waiting for the book to arrive one day somewhere in the fucking nether, right? Like, maybe one day we'll get our hands on that fucking book. I don't want to talk about it too in depth because I don't know what happens before some of those leaks, and I don't know what happens after some of those leaks. So it could be that I go out and say, oh, did you guys hear the thing about fucking Elune? But then in the passages just before that, it turns out that the thing about Elune is complete bullshit, right? Or, you know, so I want to be able to read the book so I know exactly what's going on. I quit smoking because I was hacking up bloody chunks of tar and goo. Holy shit. Seriously? Fast food is a fucking nightmare. Fast food is a nightmare. And sadly, South Africa seems to be going the way of the US when it comes to fast food. It's almost cheaper. Well, actually, it is cheaper to buy fast food than it is to buy fresh produce and cook your own meal in South Africa. And fast food is completely oversized. Like, it is big. South Africans do not play. We're very much Texas in that regard. Bigger is better. Kush Fury, how you doing? I agree. It would work. I swear the content for 9.1 is more time-gated than 9.0. The story's so damn stretched out. Christopher Screwcrow, how can they do it any other way? Like, that's the question. How can they do it any other way? They don't have enough content. Because if you take the weekly story, it's about 20 minutes a week, right? That story lasts for about a month. If you put all of that together, it's not even a day worth of content. So the only way for them... There's something else that pisses me off. Fuck it. Let's talk. Let's fucking talk. I'm ready for it now. LFR. The fuck is that? I'm not talking about LFR being introduced into the game. Why is the LFR release gated? Can anyone explain this to me? It's supposed to be a raid, right? It's supposed to be a raid. It's supposed to be a thing that you go into and there's a bunch of bosses in there. And yet Blizzard goes, no, we're going to release Wing 1 on Week 2, and then Wing 2, then Wing 3, then Week 4. So we're going to stretch out this fucking raid over the course of a month. Why? Is it because you don't want people to, or you want people to resub? Because if I think about this, if people resub the day of the new patch, they will be forced to resub in order to finish the last leg of the raid. So they'll at least get 2 months of subbing out of a person that wants to finish the LFR, that just wants to see the final boss in the raid. They'll at least get 2 months out of that guy. And I don't agree with the whole hype for the world first bullshit. I don't think that's a viable excuse. Kushferry, I do think there are people who they don't just sub for LFR. They obviously sub for the new patch. They play the new patch, and then the LFR experience is part of the new patch. But all of this time gating is to ensure that you keep subbing, because they want you to finish the story. And if they release the entire story on day one, they know that there's not enough content in the story to keep people sub for even a fucking day. Yes, I haven't played Among Us in a while, Adelia. If metrics is king, how can we believe there will be a 9.3 patch? Would Blizzard not make more money with new expansion that fits in their current philosophy, right? Kyle Tyrannus, yes. If Blizzard... So, this is how we will know that Blizzard have completely abandoned any sort of need for storytelling or any sort of need for cohesion, is if Blizzard announces 9.2 and then the next announcement is the next expansion. Then we know Blizzard really doesn't care. They need to hit a new expansion every 2 years. End of discussion. It doesn't matter if the other content isn't finished yet. It doesn't matter if they still have a ways to go with telling the story. Every 2 years there will be a new expansion, even if it means fuck the old expansion. You see, I don't think Ian is to blame. I genuinely don't think Ian is to blame. I think Ian is given an impossible task to live up to the expectations of his, superiors. And based on those expectations, Ian has to design the best possible game they can design with a team of developers that don't even play the game. I say, if you really wanted to fix World of Warcraft, you go to every single one of those developers and you say, all right, you little cunts, stop playing WoW. If you do not play WoW at least 20 hours a week, you're fired. You will play the game that you've just fucking designed. And you will come back to me and you will tell me whether or not you actually enjoyed this fucking game. Because I guarantee you now, if he forced all of those young developers to actually play the game for 20 hours a week, they'd realize very quickly, oh my god, I don't like this. This is a very boring game. Holy shit. That logic echo, then Ian would be to blame because he is the leader. The leader of what? If the suits are the ones making all of the decisions, then what really is he the leader of? The suits come to him and they say, look, we want engagement. We want the players to be engaged. We need systems that keep players logging in. The research department comes to Ian and they say, hey, we have found in our research that systems is what keeps people up and running. Systems is what keeps people engaged. So we want more of a sort of battle pass system in World of Warcraft. What are you going to do then as a developer? Now, there is something that one could say. It might be that Ian isn't right for being the lead developer of World of Warcraft. He was an amazing raid developer, but it doesn't seem like he's a good game developer. But this is why I generally don't like passing blame on anyone, because I don't know the ins and outs. If what I think is true, I also wouldn't be able to design World of Warcraft. If I think what is happening in World of Warcraft is true, even I would not be able to design and develop World of Warcraft. Kyle, I would definitely not be happy if we lost if we lost in 9.2. Sorry, I read your question wrong. Yes, I would love it if we lost in 9.2. Haven't eaten anything yet? All right, did you have fun? I know I remember you going through some posts of Blizzard Dev last stream. I can agree that Ian is not suited for his current job, but why is nothing being done about it? Seems like incompetence from Activision or Blizzard or someone. It might be that they literally just don't have anyone else. They literally just do not have anyone else, because the people that could have done it have left the company. Right? Think about everyone that used to be. Tom Chilton. Is Tom still at Blizzard? Oh, I need to check this. Tom Chilton. Is he still at Blizzard? I think he moved. I can't remember. Tom Chilton. Here we go. Former game director, entertainment, World of Warcraft, with Rob Pardo and Jeff Kaplan. I want to see if he's still at Blizzard. Okay, let's just quickly see here. Tom Chilton, after working on World of Warcraft from his Alpha to former Legion in late 2016, announced that he would be leaving the team to focus on another project within the company. Game director Chilton, in his spare time, Chilton was playing games, Variety, Ultima Online. Career, Chilton previously worked as lead designer for Origin Systems and Mobile Line abandoned. Chilton joined Blizzard Entertainment. There was Jeff Kaplan. He was one of the. So he is still at Blizzard Entertainment. He just no longer works at World of Warcraft. So they could probably bring him back because World of Warcraft was rather okay under him. Carl Terranis, the problem is that won't last forever. For now, Blizzard is making more money than they've ever made before. For now. That is not going to last forever. There comes a point where you've bled your player base so dry that not even the whales can continue to do the upkeep. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. You do know that fewer guilds have killed Sylvanas Windrunner on heroic difficulty than any previous expansion. It's only 76 guilds. Now, some of that is due to the fact that Sylvanas Windrunner is bugged as fuck and not really working at the minute. So guilds are really struggling to take her down on heroic. But I believe in Nyalotha, in the first week, you had 300 and something guilds that had taken down N'Zoth, right? This time around, you have 76 people. Now, before you go, well, acknowledge just because it's bugged and it's not working. Mythic Plus. It's the lowest participation in Mythic Plus since its inception in 9.1. So what does that tell you as a player in World of Warcraft? What does that tell you as someone that's now looking at World of Warcraft going, is this game in a healthy state, yes or no? That's what it tells me. I don't think it's just Asmongold. I think what it tells me is that players are leaving World of Warcraft in absolute droves. People are leaving. People are done. They no longer want to be there. They're not having fun. They're not getting any sort of enjoyment out of what is there. And so for them, it's more a case of just, well, I may as well go play something else, and now there is options somewhere else. Final Fantasy does offer new options, right? So no, I think World of Warcraft may be in trouble. Not in terms of dying. It might be in just enough trouble to wake the team up so that the team realizes, oh shit, we need to change. We need to fix shit. Gonna quit WoW. It's his fat wife at home, and Final Fantasy is the strip club. Yeah, I do think people take the whole Asmongold playing Final Fantasy too far. Asmongold have played other games in the past, and he's always returned to World of Warcraft. I think the quitting of Mythic Plus is related to the growing toxicity in the play mode. I do believe those people to Final Fantasy rather than stay in WoW, though. Shay, the toxicity have always been there. To blame toxicity... people would then need to explain to me how League of Legends is still the largest game in the world if toxicity is the reason why people quit. Jury Carver, yes, we went through it yesterday. at length for an hour and a half. I went through the new Cosmo map and everything else. The Discord, by the way, if you're not on the Discord, you are getting all of this information very late. So allow me to just quickly show you guys this. We go to Discord, right? Lore Media. So from yesterday, the place have been spammed with all sorts of shit from the new book. Everything that you could possibly imagine that's coming into the new book. The people over on Discord is taking a lot, making a lot of effort to make sure that everyone is updated on the new speculation stuff within World of Warcraft. The lore discussion channel have just been an absolute fucking nightmare, right? With everyone fucking talking, everyone trying to figure out the new stuff. So, yeah, if you don't want to be behind, Discord is oftentimes far quicker than Wowhead or any of the others. So definitely joining the Discord is a good idea. Into Judas, how you doing, brother? Do you think there's still hope for WoW? Do you think maybe the game will crash hard from loss of subs, and that could be the kick in the ass they need to make the game good again? Okay, so first and foremost, let's think about Blizzard's budget. Blizzard is not a poor company. Blizzard is not a poor company. Natora, it's in streamer links. If you click the streamer links there, that stream elements just linked to you, you'll find an invite to the Discord. Blizzard is not a poor company, right? They do not struggle. So is World of Warcraft down and out? Absolutely not. What World of Warcraft needs right now is to struggle. Because the only way to fix a game is for the developers to realize that they are in a bind, to realize that something is very wrong. So here's my big brain prediction, and you guys can clip it and keep it and see if it comes true. Blizzard will wash their hands on of Shadowlands the same way they did with Warlords of Draenor. They realized that that Shadowlands is beyond saving. In order to save Shadowlands, they would have to rework the entire game from the ground up. Blizzard is going to wash their hands of Shadowlands. They're going to bring out 9.2. 9.2 will bring a new raid. It will probably be the final raid of the game. And then they're going to step into... they're going to work overtime to get the new expansion out. The new expansion is going to be very much like Legion. It's probably going to restore a lot of people's trust in World of Warcraft again. Blizzard have already said that there's going to be fewer systems in the new expansion, so they at least have realized that the systems is a big problem for them. We're probably going to get back to an expansion on the level of Legion, but people need to realize that Shadowlands is done. People need to realize that Shadowlands is done. Nine Draft, not retcon it. The problem with Anduin's or Velen's visions of Anduin is an old man by then, right? So that can still happen. It's unfortunate Asmund went to Final Fantasy since I dislike that game for various reasons. I've always watched him for WoW, so that's a bit sad as well. I love Final Fantasy. A question for everyone. How much has COVID affected development? Do you think that it has affected development more than Final Fantasy 14 cycle? Because COVID has affected Japan more than the US. The excuse of COVID, in my opinion, was only valid for the first 3 months of the COVID outbreak. You cannot, a year after the COVID outbreak, still use COVID as an excuse for your development cycles. Because here's the thing. All of the games were affected. Elder Scrolls Online had, I think, one patch that was quite behind schedule. Final Fantasy also had a patch that was quite behind schedule. Since then, all of their patches were on schedule. Their expansions are on schedule to release when necessary, when needed, when it's advertised to release. So those other companies have not been struggling with Final Fantasy and with COVID in any way, shape, or form. So if Blizzard comes out and still blames COVID for all of their problems, then all that means is that the issues that is intrinsic within Blizzard's development system, within their ecosystem, have now been exposed. I do think the pandemic have hit Blizzard harder than it's hit Squeenix or who's the guys who make Elder Scrolls Online? It's not Bethesda. Oh my god, who's the company that makes Elder Scrolls Online? ZeniMax. I do think that Blizzard was hit harder by COVID than ZeniMax or Squeenix. But it doesn't matter because it's still Blizzard's fault. You see, Blizzard have intrinsic issues within their development team. The team that develops World of Warcraft is not working right now. For some reason, there's no mesh. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of communication between the teams. It seems like everyone is sort of doing their own fucking thing, right? It feels like every department is just sort of doing their own thing, no focus. Everyone is just sort of throwing shit at the wall and hoping something sticks. That's not how you design a game. If you want to design a game, you have to have a singular focus. All teams must know what the focus of the game is. Now, you incorporate that with working from home, and suddenly all of those focusless developers are now simply designing in the fucking nether, right? They're basically just somewhere in the ether. They're designing stuff. Whether it's connected to the game or not doesn't matter, because it wasn't connected to the game ever. So at the end of the day, there's no argument in my mind. You cannot use COVID anymore as an excuse. That excuse have passed. Now it's your fault. Tyrannus, that's a difficult question that I can't answer. I genuinely don't know. But I don't think we'll kill the jailer. It would be stupid if they killed off the jailer. If you watch Allcraft, they had Balila on and they did touch on the culture of WoW, and they talked about why it seems the teams aren't talking to each other. SK Bridges, I've not watched the whole thing yet. By the time I got it last night, the whole Allcraft was not uploaded yet. So I will probably watch it tonight, like the whole Allcraft. But I mean, I've touched on this before as well. Now, I'd be interested to hear what Balliler and Asmongold and those guys have to say. But it is very clear to me, at least right now, that there is a massive disconnect within the WoW team. It seems like the culture that we know exists in World of Warcraft now, in Blizzard. So Blizzard have always had a culture of sort of an old boys club, right? Cliques are very big in Blizzard. I don't know why this developed within Blizzard, but this has always been the case for Blizzard. There's different cliques, and if you're not part of a clique, you're generally left out in the cold, right? So the old boys club in Blizzard, I think, have now finally become a giant issue.
I hope we don't kill Zovile this expansion. I think it would be a mistake. We should lose the fight and he should disappear and be in the background like Sargeras for a few years. My opinion.
And Judas, thank you much for the $5. It's really appreciated, and I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Akalon, the company analyst and game designer expert. Fuzak, I would actually call myself a game designer expert. Just because I play a lot of games. I would actually think that every gamer is a game design expert. Because you play games, right? You know what you find fun. And you know why you find it fun. Would I be able to actually create a game? Probably not, right? Because there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into it that I can't do. But from an analytical standpoint, so just looking at it and being able to pass judgment on it, I do think every gamer has the ability to do that. Because I play the games, right? So I know what I like and what I dislike. The company analyst part, I don't necessarily think I am, even though I sort of talk as if I am. But I'm always very careful or very sure to say that I don't know. Because it's difficult to know, right? Blizzard doesn't speak about their inner workings. But what I just spoke about, the cliques within Blizzard Entertainment, that definitely comes from an expose that was done. So that comes from Blizzard employees who've said that. What if Jailer Zuval is the last raid boss in this expansion, but we will lose? Alshark, I'd love that. I would absolutely be on board with that. Imagine having a villain story you can watch progress over a long period of time. If Blizzard can actually stick with it, yes. Could you design a fun game for millions of people, not just what you find fun? Yes. Because even if just, let's say I designed a game for 2 million people, in terms of the world population, that's a very small percentage. It's like asking, could you make a YouTube channel where thousands or millions of people enjoy your content? The answer is yes, because there is 7, almost 8 billion people on the planet. There's bound to be 1 or 2% of those people that like what you're putting out there. Now, can you design a game that is fun for every single gamer? No, that's literally impossible. You shouldn't even try. But yeah, you can make a game where you have millions of people that love the game. That's it. It's easy. I don't think it's that hard. I think people make it overcomplicated, but I do think it's easier than most people think. We're talking concepts here, just to be clear. The actual development and design of a game, that's a whole different story, right? That does become difficult because that's a technical thing. But if we're talking just about, can I design a concept for a game that millions of people would find fun? Yes. Going to sleep now. Night, everyone. Gonna listen to the stream in the background. Waldron, thank you for hanging out. Did really appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Jurikawa, that's literally one of the problems, right? That is literally one of the issues. Zuval who? Blizzard is asking us to care about a story that they've done no setting up with. They've done no explanations as to why we should care about this story. They've simply gone, these are the stories. And maybe they thought because they borrowed everything from the MCU universe, right? Maybe they thought we would just automatically find it fun because most people like Marvel, right? Most of us love the superhero stuff. So maybe that's why they did it. They thought we could do this. People will like it because it's like the Infinity Stones. Christopher Kruger, I heard that he was very upset about it. I wasn't that upset. I actually kind of enjoyed the cinematic. Mr. McFunpants, it does need explaining. Because you're telling me that I need to care about these sigils of these eternal ones. I don't know anything about the eternal ones. I don't know anything about these sigils. I don't know anything about these afterlives. I didn't even know that this afterlife existed until Shadowlands came about. I didn't even know how this afterlife existed until Shadowlands came out. And now that Shadowlands has come out, I'm not asked, like, I'm not given any reason to care. Should I care that World of Warcraft could end if Zuval gets his way? Maybe. But that's not obvious. We are talking about care in terms of storytelling, right? So if I started telling you guys a story about Rex and how, you know, Rex's entire life has been falling apart. Rex has been chased by this guy named Chris, and Chris is an absolute villain. He's got spikes for hands and he uses magical powers, and he's trying to kill Rex. How many of you have felt a genuine emotional connection to Rex just now? The answer is 0. Because who the fuck is Rex? Who's Rex? Right? Now, if I went through Rex's childhood and I told you about Rex's childhood, I told you about Rex's issues, I told you about Rex's life, I made you care about Rex. Now, suddenly, if I introduce Chris to the story and I tell you that Chris is trying to kill Rex, there's going to be an emotional response. This is oftentimes where movies fall flat. A lot of movies fall flat on this. They don't do nearly enough to build the character into something that people can care about. A very good example of this is Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was introduced to the movie universe. Now, there's a lot of problems with Captain Marvel. Don't get me wrong. But Captain Marvel was introduced to the world of, to the movie universe in such a way that no one gave a fuck about her. She had no downsides. There was nothing that she couldn't do. She was basically Superman without the weakness to kryptonite. So why should I care whether she lives or fucking dies? So Marvel made a huge mistake with the introduction and how they introduced Captain Marvel to the fucking story, right? It's their fault that people are so angry about the Captain Marvel thing. Now, of course, none of that helps the fact that the actress that plays her is obnoxious as fuck, right? So the actress didn't help much either, because she basically said that everyone that disliked her is because she's a woman. It's like, motherfucker, Captain Marvel is a woman. People love Captain Marvel in the comics. So, it's got fuck all to do with the fact that she's a woman. People love Black Widow. She's a woman. So clearly it's not about the woman thing. There are, you are the problem. Your actions, the way you act towards your fans is the problem, right? I'm not saying it's good that they haven't explained all of the important details like the sigils to us. I'm just saying we should care, and I think it's obvious that we should care because the afterlife affects us all, and so we should demand answers from Blizzard. Oh, Mr. McFunpants, to that I absolutely agree with you. That I absolutely agree with, right? The Shadowlands deserved more setup. The Shadowlands deserves a setup, and it didn't get it. Blizzard basically just fell into the middle of a story and then told the player, hey, you should care about these things. And the player goes, well, I don't. Yeah, but you really should. He's going to destroy Azeroth. Oh, okay. Why is he a Titan++? We don't know. We're not going to tell you either. It's literally as if Blizzard is going, I have something to tell you guys, but it's a fucking secret, and I won't tell you. Like, that's literally what's going on here. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Either tell us or don't tell us. Like, don't say you have something to tell us and then refuse to fucking tell us. That's just stupid, right? It's because they're going, come back to us and we figured it all out. I wish it was what they were doing. Blizzard whipped their ass before finishing wiped their ass before finishing pooping. The secret is the crooked serpent in the sepulcher, and even Zuval doesn't know it. It would be awesome. Blizzard is bad about not even telling us their vision for the game and why they want things to go a certain direction. If anything, they or Ian tells us why we should like something by throwing statistics at us. I agree with what you're saying there, 100%. It's something that I've been hammering for the last week. You have to include the player in your game. The game has to be about the player. Gaming is not like movies. I would argue that gaming is the most interactive piece of entertainment in the world. I believe that not even books can tell a story the way that games do. Not even books can draw a person in. And I love reading, but I don't even think books can draw a person into a story the way that games can. Games is interactive entertainment. What that interaction means is your player must be part of the game. When you simply start building a game and expecting the player to just partake in it, that's where you start failing. The player is not just a customer or a consumer, or they are part of your world, especially if you're talking about MMOs. The player is the world. If you don't include them in it, you can't expect them to include themselves because they don't know what they're including themselves into. Most people right now and I see this in the comment section of my videos, so many people don't know what the fuck's going on. So many people whenever I make a video about Zuval, there's literally always comments of people going, yeah, who gives a fuck about Zuval? And I can't blame them. I don't have anything to say. I can't retort their claim. Because, yeah, who gives a fuck about Zuval? And it's sad, because it could have been such a good fucking story if Blizzard just gave it the care and the necessity that it required. Funny enough, the base reputation among the Blizz games is D2 Remaster now, which is not even made by Blizzard. Vicarious Visions are under the Blizzard brand nowadays. We'll see how So I'm not a fan of these remakes. Even though remakes can turn out to be really good, and I know that I'm being completely hypocritical whenever I say that I'm not a fan of remakes, because I loved the remake for Mass Effect, and I'm so happy to hear that there's an actual remake coming for Witcher 3. So I am a hypocrite, but at the same time, I think rather focus on making new games than focus on giving us fucking old games. That should not be the focus, right? I'm not saying don't do old games, don't remake them. I'm just saying make them not as new content. Keep the new content coming. I never heard why you're on the fence for Baldur's Gate. I'll tell you now, Seven Raven. Silvercup, remake, remaster, similar thing, I suppose. Although remake is a bit more of a, like, Final Fantasy VII would have been a remake because they basically changed the entire fucking game. Resident Evil would be a remake because they basically changed the entire game. But I used the two interchangeably, right? Sure, D2 is actually a remaster and not a remake. But there's also a lot of changes that happen in the remaster, right? The UI has been changed. They've made a bunch of new changes to the balancing of the game. So one could argue that it's sort of a mini remake, but I get your point, right? I'm just talking about both. I'm not a fan of either. Not as content. It can be side content. It can be part of stuff that you're doing, but it can't be in place of new things, which is oftentimes what it feels like with a lot of these remakes. They bring out the remake because they don't have anything else. So I don't like where the gaming industry is going. And what I'm saying here is more looking to the future, not looking at what happens right now. But I can very easily see the future just, years and years of remakes fucking launching. Remakes of remakes launching, right? Because they know that they're going to make a good amount of money off of it with people spending the cash on it. So that's sort of what I mean by that. Now, why am I holding off on Baldur's Gate? Because Baldur's Gate isn't finished. For some reason, Larian Studios thought to themselves it would be a good idea to release an RPG that isn't finished. So it sort of pisses me off. I love Baldur's Gate, and I can't wait to play it. And there's a part of me that wants to go, fuck it, I'll just play it. But at the same time, I'm going, I want to be able to play the story from start to finish, no stoppages. Right? I don't want to sort of get to the good point in the game, and now I have to wait because the next chapters haven't been released yet. True, I like the idea of getting to experience an old game you loved with better graphics. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is GOAT, and they've even added more civs and better AI and UI. Silver Coppin, of course, I'm not blaming it. I'm sort of seeing a trend that could become very, very counter-consumer very quickly. Forced the Hitman to be episodic, maybe Wizards of the Coast tried to force them. I don't even know. It could be, but I'm not sure. I'm kind of disappointed. Baldur's Gate 3 will be a reskin of Divinity Original Sin. Is it a reskin, though? Commander, how you doing, bro? Chocotar, thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Might keep us interested, but also coming into the expansion, we know he is the bad guy, but to be honest, they have been going the route of trying to explain what is leading us to this point while keeping Zaval as a mystery. Yeah, Commander J, I 100% agree with you. Bombay, the funny part of all of this is in the past. Mr. Tame, you do mean Baldur's Gate 3, right? Not 4. In the past, Asian gaming companies have almost always failed in the West. This is very interesting now. We've basically begun a whole new level of what the fuck is going on. Asian companies have never been good in the West. They've always struggled to grab the attention of the Western audience. They've always struggled to convince the Western audience of whatever the fuck they're doing. They've always failed to market to the Western audience. And nowadays, it feels like the Asian games are leaps and bounds ahead of the Western companies. It's almost as if the West have started to fail to understand how to communicate with Western audiences. Zaval to me is just a giant dude with the most luscious nipples I've ever seen. That is, that I know nothing about. I feel more of a connection to the Primus, who hasn't been present this entire time because we actually got some lore about him and who he is. More of a connection, yes, but still very weak connection. But I do agree with you. I just wish there was more setup for Zaval. They knew it was leading to this during BFA, but he was absent except for a couple of lines in a comic. Tabby, how you doing, bro? Because they learned and us forgot. We have a cancer that is called virtue signaling and wokeness. Bombay Show, I wouldn't say that's all it is. Sure, there is a lot of that, right? Which, as I've explained yesterday, is very condescending. Right? And I know it's condescending because I have enough people that is part of the LGBT community. I have enough people who are Black, Asian, even Jewish followers, and they all feel condescended, right? It feels condescending whenever things are just shoehorned into a game when even it doesn't make sense, right? Even if it doesn't make sense. So there is a lot of that, but I don't think that's the big reason. That's definitely one of the reasons, but that's not a big enough reason. I think the majority of the reason is they have changed the way they look at their players. The amount of content makes no sense. I agree. If that team managed to do D2 the way players would be happy with, maybe that team could be a basis for a Classic Plus team instead of the current one, which just seemingly seeks to add to Classic retail things. See, it's two different games because D2 in a large way is already perfect, right? In a large way, D2 is already perfect. It just requires new graphics, and they're basically just sticking to what the players want there. When you're talking about... for example... Classic, there is a problem with how how do you keep Classic a little bit fresh? Right? Like, how do you keep Classic fresh? And I think that's the problem they have now. They're trying to sort of keep players playing on all fronts, if that makes sense. Given the scope of the stakes in Shadowlands, I kind of wish we had an entire expansion before Shadowlands to learn about the machinations of death. Not only does our enemy feel ridiculously powerful, but we had like 15 years of game history with Sargeras as the big bad. Zuvul came out of nowhere. Mr. Same, 100% agree with you. Fuck, come back when you're 50 plus. More like on any front they have left. Well, yes. Like they're trying on all fronts to get people to keep playing their games. Right? To keep logging in. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, right? They talked about doing resets, kind of like seasons in Classic. I heard that, John, which I don't know if it's going to work, quite frankly. I think that might piss a lot of players off. But then again, it might actually be something that Classic players are interested in. Right? All I can see from those seasons is Diablo 3 seasons. How many seasons is Diablo 3 on now? Wait, is it JC's birthday today? 32 years old today. I'm getting old. Ladies and gentlemen, can we get some love in chat for JCX Core? Can we get some love in chat for it? JC? It's his birthday. So, let's get some love there. Jojo, what to do with you? Nazoth should have had his own expansion. Absolutely agree. Into Judas, could not agree more. I'm hurting because I'm 33. I'm 36, motherfuckers. Get on my level. I don't know. I think the best thing we can do is just focus on the lore and hope that Blizzard learns their lessons. That's probably the best thing we can do, because focusing on the issues, it just leads to a lot of disappointment. You were so old, Aklon. I know, Adelia. I know. You cancelled your sub today. Holy shit. That's big. How many people in chat have cancelled their WoW subs now? Reginald, thank you for the 1 sub. Did really fucking appreciate it. 1 year, motherfucker. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have infinite tokens. Did it today. Cancelled mine 3 months ago. 38 minutes left. Jesus. Cancelled a day after 9.1 came out. That's you. That's a lot of you. Fuck my life. A lot of you. I've now decided, screw it. I'm done. Jose Felix, how you doing? If it's on purpose, them not putting much attention to Zuvul, like he has been secretly scheming everything, and now we are like, what? No way. It is on purpose, but like I said, I think the reason Blizzard did this with Zuvul is they thought to themselves, it's similar to the Marvel universe, and therefore people will automatically like it, because he's basically this Thanos character. The issue, of course, is that Thanos got an entire movie to introduce him before we finally saw his endgame. Zuvul got a sort of, not even, like maybe a pre-patch, and then they introduced him, and they went, oh, you have to be very scared of this guy. And most players are going, why? I'm not scared of him. because I don't know anything about him, right? Shay, what do you mean? The Maelstrom. I'm sure you guys covered it to death ages ago, but I don't know where. Oh, wow. I wouldn't be able to find that for you. I have too many videos on my channel. Let's just quickly see. How many YouTube videos do I have on my fucking channel right now? It's thousands. Or at least 1,000. Used to be a place where I could see that immediately, but now I'm going to have to probably go to Social Blade to actually see that. I'm quickly checking all up. Okay, let's go Social Blade, Aklon, go. Am I on YouTube? Yes, I am on YouTube. All right. Does it show how many videos I have? Must show how many videos I have. Somewhere here must show how many fucking videos I've got. Yeah, here we go. 1,105. So it would be very difficult for me to tell you like which videos I did about it, but yeah. I have too many videos. My soul is in WoW. I'm subbed, but I'm leveling the other races for the level 50 sets. Actually have enjoyed BFA leveling up an alt more now than when the expansion came out. Zon, that happens often. What does that grade represent? I don't actually know. It's sort of like based on all of your metrics, it gives you a grade. I don't actually know exactly how you up the grade or down the grade or like that. I can't really answer because I've had times where I would gain, like last year, we gained like 1,500 subs a month for almost 2-3 months in a row, and yet the grade remained B minus. So I don't know how this works. Am I? Oh, right. SA Trucker. He's got, okay, I don't know, sorted by SB rank. So it seems like every single South African, the highest in South Africa is a B+. The highest in South Africa is a B+. Let's go sort by subscribers. Then you have Die Antwoord with 3.15 million. Disney Channel Africa, Supersport, Boomerang, Open Mic Productions, which bar, I don't know half of these channels, but I think most of these channels are music channels. I think most of it is music channels. Digit, sure, show me. We've done really well on Twitch, though. Like, if we go Twitch here, and we go Aklon, Twitch have been doing fucking tremendously well the last few days. Or the last month, actually. Like, just look at that. Views have been going up. It's been crazy. Look at this. They've been doing well on Twitch. Did you? I did, Norski. I did see it. We discussed it yesterday. The VOD for yesterday's discussion on the map will be up tomorrow afternoon at 2. It's already up on Twitch, but if you prefer watching VODs on YouTube, that'll be made live tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. The link is in the panel down below. So if you go to the panels here, if you click on this panel, Echo Live, it'll take you to my live channel where all of my VODs are uploaded. So if you ever miss a stream, you can catch the VODs on YouTube. Ferorius, thank you for seeing what's up, dude. Really fucking appreciate that. 25 months in a row. Thank you, Ferorius. How you doing, brother? More chill streams. Is yours, Aklon? For now, it's only you that I can watch. Keep it up. Aureus, thank you very much. I'd really appreciate that. I wasn't sure when I took the leap to a just chatting streamer. I wasn't sure if it's going to work. Because everyone I spoke to said, dude, play World of Warcraft on stream. You're not going to get viewers anywhere, any other way. And then I said, fuck that. I don't want to play WoW on stream. And so it worked. Right? I've gone from having very few viewers. And we can actually check this. Hold up. I just need to, because I'm not allowed to show how much money I make, I think. I don't know. Am I allowed to make? I don't think I'm allowed to show how much money I make. I don't know what Twitch's rules are. But if we go back to, say, June, or even May, we go back to May. In May, we had 92 average viewers, right? In June, we had 94. In July, we had 169 average viewers for this month so far. 169 average viewers. Show me the money. Well, I can tell you that for June, I made just shy of $500, right? And in July, I am now almost at $600 for the month. So far. I'm not afraid of the money that I make. Like, I don't care. I don't think it's like, you get a lot of people who don't want to share how much money they make on Twitch or YouTube because they think people will stop supporting them if they show it. I've actually found the opposite is true. People don't care. What people don't want to see is you sort of throwing your money around as if you're some kind of king and you don't appreciate them supporting you, right? But I don't think people support you with the sole thing of you not making money, right? Every single person here knows that whenever they sub to the channel, they're giving me money. So if you didn't want me to make money, you would just not give me money, right? It's as simple as that. So I don't mind. It's just rules within Twitch and YouTube. They don't allow you to show how much money you're making. But if we go to my YouTube channel, I'll tell you exactly how much I've made. That's minus the money that the government takes as soon as the money gets in. So it's less than that. The government takes quite a big fucking chunk. But February, I made like 2,600-ish. March, I made 2,900. April, I made 2,200. May, 1,800. June, 2,300. And July, we're on 1,100 for the month so far. Adidia, rarely. There are days where I sort of wake up and I go, man, I want to play a game. Like, I want to play something, but it's rare. It's very rare that I play other games. So I stream for this. What we're doing now, this is why I stream. I don't stream. If I want to play games, I'll sit here in silence and I will play my fucking game. I like streaming because it gives me an opportunity to hang out, right? To chat, to sort of get your thoughts on things and give you my thoughts on things. That's what I love about streaming. When I'm playing video games, I can't do that because I'm playing the game, and I hate that. It's also one of the reasons I wanted to stop doing the D&D streams. It's one of the reasons I stopped doing Among Us streams. Because I don't actually want to hang out with other people on Discord whenever I'm playing games. I want to hang out whenever I'm streaming. I want to hang out with my chat. Otherwise, I would just play it in silence, right? I would just enjoy my game on my own. Harbin, how you doing, brother? I enjoy your WoW lore videos. So much enthusiasm. Thanks. You're very welcome, dude. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for the first time chat. Really appreciate that. I don't mean to bring up politics, but how's things in South Africa now? Is it quieting down? From what I understand, yes. It's quieting down. Although they're expecting another rise from it. I mean, they're expecting it to flare up again. But from what I understand, it's been calm now. At least today. But we'll see. So I don't really follow the news. I usually just wait for someone to tell me. I don't like watching the news. It makes people negative. It sort of destroys your fucking your meditative lifestyle. So I don't like going into it at all. Crysters, yes. Well, to be fair, I've never lived in a poor part of South Africa, but I did live in a poorer part, right? So I used to live in Aureus. Thank you for the 5 community subs, dude. Really fucking appreciate that. Thank you with some love and chat for Aureus for giving us his money. Can we shower him with love and affection for handing his money over to the stream? Really appreciate that. So I lived in Polokwane, which is a small city with a lot of poverty, right? It's not a rich city. It's the sort of city that if it stopped working tomorrow, I doubt South Africa would even feel it. The only thing that they would feel is the mines that go offline, but that's about it, right? I now live in Pretoria, which is the second largest financial city in South Africa, so economic city in South Africa. So now I'm in, like, if things happen here, it really matters, right? I appreciate all of you watching me instead of TV. It's one of the things I think is so amazing about Twitch. The TV you only get to watch, whereas on Twitch, you actually get to form part of the conversation. Do you still play Valhalla? No, I haven't played that in a long time. Like a really long time. Which I knew would happen. I knew that I would stop playing it because it's not really my type of game. Give me a story game and Valheim, not Valhalla, excuse me, Valheim. Give me a game with a story. Give me a game where the story drags me into it, and oh my god, I will never stop playing. Give me a survival game. I don't last long on those. I have fun for like the first 2 days, and then I'm like, oh, fuck this. I'm done now. I'm gonna go play a game that has a story. Although I've been lost the last few weeks, I don't have anything to play. I don't have any game that's sort of speaking to me at the moment on a really personal level. Which sucks dick. I want a new game. Do you think New World could have a good story? Based on the beta? No. But based on the beta, not at all. The beta had horrible stories, so it would depend on how they redo the story, I suppose. Because the beta story was absolutely atrocious. I would love an affection by you all day, Akko. Thank you very much, JC. Really appreciate that. Akko has that voice where you can listen to him giving you a motivational speech while you work out at the gym. I don't speak at the gym, so I would be a horrible motivational speaker at the gym. What about NFT gaming? I don't think I've ever done that. What is that relevant to Sargeras is done? What do you mean, Shay? New cosmology chart on Wowhead. Laurie, how you doing? I know. We covered that yesterday in absolute detail. So just to be clear, once again, for everyone that don't know this, if you were on the Discord, if you actually pulled your finger out of your bottom, you would have known, and Laurie, this is not aimed at you at all, but you would have known all of these leaks yesterday already. And we're talking quite early on yesterday. You would have already gotten all of the leaks. they've been busy. Let's just say that. The Discord have been busy. They've basically been trolling Twitter, looking for everything that they can find. Any sort of information, any small piece of information. And then, of course, as the Discord always does, it turns that into immediate speculation. Oh, Kenny, I've heard of that, but I've never played those. Again, if it's got a good story, I'll definitely play it. But story is everything to me. Everything. I need story. If your game doesn't have a story, the chances are it's not going to keep me entertained. Not for long. I need... so there's the only games that I play that doesn't have story is management sims. So things like Oxygen are included, things like Civilization. Those I can play for fucking ever, right? Because I love those games. They scratch a different kind of itch. All other games, if there's no story, I lose interest very quickly in the story. Mysteries, I don't think so, or is. I don't know what that is even. Dr. Neptune, how you doing? Loved your recent YouTube vids. Thank you very much, Dr. Neptune. Really appreciate that. What did you guys think of the newest YouTube video? Do you guys like the new style where, it's a bit more edited? It's a bit more, shall we say, ordered? I wonder if the people in Discord know that they're on the stream. Well, yeah, but that's all played out, many as well. How the hell do we tag peeps in Twitch chat? Just do the @ sign and go many as one. Random lore question. Warlock Legion book says that Sargeras had a vision where he was dragged down after the Well of Eternity imploded. But Warbringers, Zara also shows N'Zoth down there right at the same time. If the vision of Sargeras could be related to our tentacle friend, how do you think it affected the events? So I don't necessarily think that... I don't think N'Zoth had anything to do with that vision. I think that vision was him seeing Azeroth. We know that vision had a giant impact on him because it said that she opened her one eye, right? And if you look at every single creature that works for Sargeras, they all seem to have some kind of damage to one of their eyes, which we noted upon in Legion already. We sort of went through all of the people that worked for him and we were sort of like, why do all of them have this damaged eye? I mean, what was the purpose of this? Razor Connor, I'll check it out after stream. What's the message about? Is it DM? You can see all the fucking DMs. This isn't even all of the DMs. This is just the most recent DMs. Alright, let me quickly see. Razor, you're John on Discord, right? Alright, a little something from that Monster X Pokemon game I mentioned in last stream. Yeah, but what's this game about? I don't know what this game is about, really. Dr. Neptune, I think he may either make his reappearance in 9.2 or he could be part of an expansion, the next expansion, where he might now go and take control of the Burning Legion. Right? So Sargeras had control of the Burning Legion, but now that he's in the Sword, there is a chance that the Nathrazim could remove him from the Shadowlands and take him to the Burning Legion. Oh, right. Is a Titan or a first one? I think she's a Titan, but I think she's a different type of Titan. Control via the Nathrezim? Yes. The Nathrezim already have the control of the Burning Legion. And the Nathrezim answers to Sidon-Athreus. So if Sidon-Athreus was re-emerged within the Twisting Nether, he'd be able to reorganize the demons. Illidan getting his eyes when he said behind his army there is another one, and another, and another, and later claimed that the Well of Eternity is his commitment to protecting Azeroth. But what's the point there, Menias One? Will probably carry on for much longer. I hope it does, because the Nathrezim have a very interesting story, and it would be nice to have an expansion where the Nathrezim is one of our main enemies, right? No, Aureus, I don't. So, of course it's possible. Anything is possible with Blizzard Entertainment. Would I like that? The answer is absolutely, unequivocally no. The answer is I don't want it. Because that just, like I said, I said this before, it convolutes the story too much. If Elune is Azeroth and Azeroth is Elune, then literally nothing that the cosmology book said is true. Then the Titans got it completely wrong. Because the Titans say that Elune helped them to make the Emerald Dream. Kimchi Queen, how you doing? I really appreciate how well spoken you are. I love it. What do you mean, Kimchi? I would say I struggle more with getting words out than I should probably. Holy shit, the Steam handheld? What handheld? What? I would love if the jailer got his reset done. It would be amazing. It would be absolutely awesome if the jailer could actually get the reset done. Could she be Azeroth's avatar? I think that the player's character, but for the sake of wondering. No, I don't think so. Steam announced Steam Deck, so portable console that supports Steam games. Oh. Oh. You see, I refuse. I refuse to use anything mobile in my life, so I can't use that. Ronan's, I did see the map. Yes, we spoke about it yesterday. How are you doing, Ronan's? No. So here's the thing, okay? So everyone sort of knows why I'm so against mobile stuff. I love thinking, right? I'm whenever I'm not playing video games, so if I'm standing outside having coffee or whatever, I like being in my own mind. Like I like having my imagination run wild and sort of come up with new stories. I love making stories. I'm always busy pretending to make one story or another. So I've got this story that I'm working on right now. I've been working on it for about 2 weeks now. It would be a game if I had the money to fund it. But a game where you actually have the ability to become a mafia boss, right? Or the boss of a gang. So it's basically like a criminal game. You become a criminal. You can decide what type of criminal you want to be. And it's an MMO. So players can also decide to become cops. Very much like GTA, but far more involved. So you basically build up this giant criminal empire. I'm not going to go into everything because it would take hours. I've been working on this for 3 weeks. So I've got a lot of shit that's sort of tumbling around, right? Before that, I was working on a different game story, which basically had these two princes that were brothers, but they basically tore their world apart in their fighting. So that's also a game that's sort of in my work around right now. But I've got this sort of... so I love doing things like that. If I'm not doing that, then I'm usually thinking about real world stuff. So I love thinking about physics, psychology. I anthropology, biology, things like that. So I'll usually watch something and then I'll start thinking about it. I don't need something on my phone that distracts from that, right? I don't need something on my phone that distracts me from that. So I don't like having my phone with me in the first place. And I definitely don't like knowing that my phone can interfere with my ability to think. So if I'm ever on a plane, I know I did this when I flew to England. I spent the entire 14 hours thinking, like just sitting there and just sort of imagining things and coming up with different stories. I would hate if my phone took that away from me. If you buy someone to kill a level for me, Mafia Yakuza. Yes, Digit, but I'm talking about think bigger than GTA, Mafia, or Yakuza. Think even bigger than that. So, for example, think about career decisions, AI that sort of makes decisions against you. So you don't just have your own criminal empire, you have other criminal empires that is sort of trying to steal from you. Then you have other players with their own criminal empires that's also in the same vein, doing their own thing. And having to run that, right? So I'm literally talking about, think about the level of stuff. Think about something like the Blacklist, but in terms of a game. And imagine you're Raymond Reddington having to micromanage all of these small little things as they happen, right? Imagine how cool of a game that could be. A faction war, but also sometimes not, right? So if I had my choice and I could make that game, maybe you don't want to go to war with one of these other gangs. And so you negotiate a truce, or maybe you negotiate an alliance, or maybe you find a very clever way of a hostile takeover where you're not even shooting, right? Is this possible? Probably not. Probably can't be done, right? Because it would be the biggest game on Earth. But those are sort of things that I wish I could do. Those are things that I think about a lot. I don't listen to music. The only time I listen to music is when I'm streaming. Outside of that, I barely ever listen to music. Because again, if I'm listening to music, I can't think. Because now I'm listening to music. So I prefer doing one thing at a time and just doing that well. Total War Chicago. No, this wouldn't be a point and click game. This would be an actual game. Like an actual third-person game. I also hate first-person games. I feel like so many games are destroyed because people want to make first-person bullshit. Don't do first-person. Do a third-person. Third-person is the way RPGs are meant to be played. I hate first-person RPGs. No, I can't think with music. Because now I'm listening to the words, and I hear the words, and the words are distracting me. No. Just no. Adelia, enjoy the LEC. I'll be watching it tonight as well. The LEC is going to be very interesting this week. Because it seems like G2 is online now. Elder Scrolls is wrong. One of the reasons I've never been able to get into the Elder Scrolls universe is because of that first-person orientation. Now, luckily, they fixed that in the MMO, right? Where the first person, you don't have to play as first person, and the third person doesn't feel clunky as fuck. With Elder Scrolls Skyrim, you could go into third person, but in order to hit certain things, you almost have to look, like aim down at the ground in order to get it to hit. And I fucking hate that. Cyberpunk 2077 was killed by being first person. One of the things it was killed by anyways. You see, I didn't mind Cyberpunk being first person. It's actually one of the few games that I would say did the first person right, in my opinion. So the first thing is it allowed me to drive the car normally, right? I would have hated it if I had to be in the car in first person as well. But I liked it. For the most part, I liked it. I think Cyberpunk did a good job, a good enough job of it. Would I have preferred if Cyberpunk was third person? Absolutely. That would have definitely been my preference. Because then it would have felt far more Mass Effect-ish. Because Mass Effect is fucking insane. If you've never played Mass Effect, you need to do yourself that favor. Like, do yourself that favor. Go play Mass Effect. You will fucking love it. Promise you. I'm actually sort of thinking maybe we should do next week Mass Effect week. Let me finish Mass Effect on the stream again. Because I will fucking play it again. I will play it again. That story is off the fucking charts. It's still rolling it. Whereabout are you there now, by the way? So I am still playing it, but I'm just doing my leveling at the minute every day. So every day I log in, I do one leveling, and then I log out. Because I still want to fucking play on stream, but at the same time, I don't want to play on stream. Does that make sense? I don't know. Would you guys want me to play Final Fantasy on stream? Because I don't think a lot of people really care when it comes to the Final Fantasy stuff on stream. Dr. Neptune, I have only ever played the first Dark Souls for 10 minutes. The problem was that it bugged the fuck out for me. So my controller wouldn't work with it, and playing it on mouse and keyboard just feels absolutely horrendous. So I basically refunded the game. But I have been thinking about buying it again because I just bought a new controller that shouldn't bug anymore. This controller, for some reason, just did not want to. So this is the new controller, right? The old controller, these buttons refuse to work for the movement. So it wanted me to move with these. It wanted me to move with the fucking arrows, and I was like, what's the point of this? That's just stupid. So I bought the new controller, and it should work. So we'll see. Got some errands to handle. I love you, bro. Razor Connor, thank you for trying out, dude. Really appreciate it. Take care of yourself, bro. Wouldn't mind you playing Final Fantasy 14 on stream. I enjoy it, actually. And how about New World? I should be in the New World closed beta. So if I do get into the closed beta, I will be playing it, yes. I don't have an Xbox controller, Cesius. I don't have an Xbox. I don't buy consoles. I find it to be a massive waste of time. Kimchi Queen, if I played what made me happy, I think most of you would get really annoyed with me very quickly. Because I don't always want to play. It's one of the reasons I've been very hesitant to pick up gaming Twitch streamer. Because there are days where even if I'm into a game, there are days where I wake up and I go, I don't want to play games today. Now you have a bunch of people coming in because they think we're going to finish Mass Effect. But I'm off, right? I don't want to play it that day. Now you have a lot of people that's very upset because they were hoping that I was going to play something else. Or I was going to play a game. So I've been very hesitant to pick up games on Twitch. Mainly because I tend to take very long to finish games. Even great games. Because I go very slow. Which is another reason people are going to hate me playing any sort of RPG game. I go slow. I explore the whole map. And then I look for every secret. And I look for short stories that I can find. Witcher 3 playthrough took almost 4 months the last time I did it. Because I literally go to every single question mark on the map. Everything must be explored. And most people don't want that, right? Most people want you to just play the main story and get it over and done with. And I'm like, no, I won't. I just want to, like, explore the game. Many as one, I may do that at some point. Just get, like, one day, maybe like a Friday or something, and just shoehorn that as a day, a gaming day. It's about an MMORPG. Did you also play Dragon Age series? I fucking loved Dragon Age. I am not one of those people that hated Dragon Age 2 at all whatsoever. I thought Dragon Age 2 had an amazing story. Gameplay could have been better, but the story was insane. Dragon Age 1 Origins is by far the greatest Dragon Age that they ever released. I'm still working my way through Dragon Age Inquisition. Sort of went off that a few months ago, so I'm bound to pick that up eventually again. But you're very engaging with the community, so I personally wouldn't think it would get dull or boring, but that's just me. Games Green, I really appreciate that. Depends, though, what kind of game it is. Because if it's a massive story game and I'm really into the story, I can get sort of quiet because I'm just playing the story. So it would depend on the game. But yeah, if I ever do gaming streams, you can expect it to be... you can literally expect it to just be RPGs. CCS, because we played Phasmophobia for quite some time, and I've not updated my schedule in a very long time. That's why. It's because I'm unprofessional as fuck. The Grey, that's probably what I will do. That's probably, once I get the guts to do it, that's probably what will end up happening. I'll just play whatever I want to play, and I'll do whatever I want to do. And if people don't like what I'm doing on that specific day, they don't have to be here. And if people like what I do, they'll stay. I do think, however, as a new streamer, Captain Big Plan, how you doing, brother? I think if you're a smaller streamer, just chatting is almost the best place that you can be. Because most people come to small streamers to hang out, to create a bond, to, you know, to be part of a community. And if you're stuck playing video games as a small streamer, your audience can very quickly start to feel left out. Which is not why if they wanted to feel left out, they would go watch of the massive streamers, right? Where they're not even part of that conversation. The massive streamers doing their own thing and just sort of fucking playing games and entertaining. Where, as a small streamer, it's important that you take advantage of the fact that you are a small streamer and your audience is here because they get to chat to you. So I get to respond to every single one of your messages because my chat isn't going at 400 miles a fucking hour, right? Whereas if we were to get to 10,000 viewers, at that point it becomes far more difficult, right? Because now chat is moving quite fast. And as a streamer, you're now able to catch maybe 1 in 2, 1 in 5 lines of what anyone says. And then you get to the really big guys that eventually end up just responding to people when they donate. Because they literally can't see chat any other way. Dr. Neptune, thank you so much for the Prime Sub, dude. Really appreciate that. 2 months in a row. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Watch for you, Echo. On that note, I'm out. It's 2 a.m., bro. Take care of yourself, Dr. Neptune. Thank you much for coming to say hello. Really appreciate that, bro. Just do slow mode. There is no need to spam messages anyway. And yet people do, right? People love spamming. Which is great, but it is what it is, right? That's why I love your channel. You are very interactive with chat. It's refreshing. Samuelin, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. I'm for Akalon's theories that Blizzard ends up copying. I don't know if they copy my theories, though. That would rely on them actually watching the videos, right? And I don't know how many of the Blizzard developers actually watch my videos. Actually, it would be interesting to know how many Blizzard employees actually watch anyone's videos. I know for a fact that I have 2 Blizzard employees that watch my videos. That I know for a fact because both of them have DM'd me, telling me. Then I know for a fact that there's about 5 Blizzard employees that know of me. Whether they watch my videos or not, they've DM'd me with leaks and sort of stuff, right, in the past. So I know for a fact that they know of me. Whether they watch all of my videos, that's a different story. But in terms of broader, I don't know how many, if even. Amongst, how you doing? Is South Africa doing okay? For now, it seems to have sort of calmed down a little. But we'll see, because apparently, according to the police, these riots and the looting is instigated by a group that's trying to insurrect the government, right? It's an insurrection movement. So these groups are trying to take over the country. They're trying to make it ungovernable so that they can step in and make it governable again. So we'll have to see if they sort of give up. We now have the military on the streets, and we're on the verge of, I think my president was sort of toying around with the idea of instituting a national state of emergency. Now, if that happens, the military becomes the police, right? So you have martial law effectively. So they were on the verge of doing that. I don't know if they did it. But it seems like things have sort of calmed down now. So we'll have to see. The long-term effects of this, though, is not going away. They have destroyed, just in the last 2 days, they have destroyed almost 7 billion rand worth of the GDP, right? So businesses have suffered just over 7 billion rands worth of damages just in the last 2 days. And that's just the physical damage. That's not even yet the calculation of the damage to the economy. So they're not even sure yet how this is going to affect the economy. We have things like fuel shortages in the rest of the country now starting up. We have things like food shortages that's starting up. You have pharmacies that's been looted. And we're talking about hundreds of pharmacies that's been looted. And the people that's going to suffer now are people that require HIV medication. South Africa is one of the largest populations HIV positive in the world. So that's going to be a huge problem, right? People with diabetes, for example, they're not going to be able to get, because those medicines were taken, some of them destroyed. A lot of those pharmacies were burned to the ground. So that's going to be a huge issue that we're going to have to figure out what's going to happen there. And businesses, and then Philip Korf is correct there. We have companies that's now withdrawing from South Africa. So international companies that's going, no. This is a bit too much for us. We're not gonna stay, because it doesn't seem like South Africa is a good place to invest our money right now. The funny thing about this is all the government's doing. And what's even stranger is we had an economist, the guy's name is Davie Rood, right? He warned when South Africa, so people need to understand something. Before COVID, South Africa was in an almost decade-long recession. Before COVID already, our economy was on the brink of collapse. Then COVID hit, right? And as soon as COVID hit, our country basically plunged itself into a depression, right? Because our country couldn't handle it. We were already running on budget deficits. At the time, we had about 1.5 million South Africans paying 75% of all taxes in the country. You have a population of well over 60 million people. Only 1.5 million of them pay 75% of all the taxes in the country. Companies pay over 15%, just 15% of all taxes in the country. So you can imagine there's not a big tax base there. And the government has spent the last decade trying to figure out how to get more taxes out of the 1.5 million people that can actually afford to pay taxes. It's just come out, like in the last week. It's now 525,000 people in South Africa that pay 75% of all taxes. So that number have decreased by an order of magnitude. Only 525,000 people are paying 75% of all taxes in the country, which means it's unsustainable. You can't sustain this level of... And the government's not stopping. They've just announced new tax methods. They're going to figure out how to tax us even more. They're pushing forward with the NHI, which is the National Health Insurance Fund, which is going to add a 5% tax on top of the taxes that the 525,000 people are already paying. Right, so they want to do that as a flat 5% tax on top of all the other tax that they're already paying. So that's gonna be another huge fucking issue that's going to destroy the already understrained tax base. Now, the reason this latest bullshit started in South Africa is our ex-president, the man responsible for the fact that we have intermittent electricity, the man responsible for billions of rands being bled from this country into the hands of criminals, right? He was just sentenced to 15 months in jail for contempt of court. So he's supposed to appear in front of the Zondo Commission, right, in order to testify against state capture. So he needs to testify and explain why, under his tutelage, the country was basically looted. Daylight robbery occurred. He refused to show up. Then the Zondo Commission went to the Constitutional Court of South Africa and said, you must force him to show up. He needs to answer for his crimes. He refused to show up in the Constitutional Court. And so the Constitutional Court found him in contempt, and they slapped him with a 15-month jail period for being in contempt of court. He then refused. At first, he said, "No, I'm not going to jail." And his followers, the people in KwaZulu-Natal, sort of congregated around his 230 million rand home. I want that to sink in. My ex-president used government funds to build himself a $20 million home. This was big news, like a couple of years ago. He literally used government funds. They came up with the most bullshit stuff. So the swimming pool was justified as a fire precaution thing. So if a fire breaks out, the swimming pool water can be used to put out the fire. That's why he needs a swimming pool, right? That's how they justified all of the funds that went into this house. But the house is called Nkandla. You can actually go Google it if you want. It's this giant fucking multi-million-dollar home that he built for himself that South Africans had to pay for. It wasn't built out of his own pocket. We had to pay for it. Tax dollars we used. Tax rands we used for that. So his followers congregated around it. They didn't want to let him go. He then eventually handed himself over to the police. And then his followers said, fuck this. Now we start riots. We start wars. And what happened was hungry people, because the country's been on lockdown for over a year. There's no jobs. There's no food. These hungry people, not all of them, some of them were stealing, there was this funny joke that someone made in the comment section of one of the news videos where the guy said, only in South Africa, I am so hungry, I think I'll go steal a TV. Right? Because some of the looters were walking away with fucking fridges and televisions and shit like that. But some of the looters were genuinely just trying to get their hands on food. They were genuinely just trying to get some food, something that they could eat, because they don't have jobs. The government isn't providing anything because the government can't. It's fucking bankrupt. So they were generally using this as an advantage to get something to eat. So at the end of the day, it's a perfect storm of bullshit, because my government is handling the pandemic in the worst possible fucking way. They've been trying the lockdowns now for a year, and it's not working. And it's funny to me. It's genuinely fucking hilarious to me. My country has been under lockdown for a year now, the numbers keep spiking, and their answer is more lockdowns. And it's like, okay, bro, it's not working. Like, motherfucker, it's not working. At some point, you have to go, stop sticking your dick in the fucking wall plug, right? This shit isn't working. So your lockdowns, they're useless. The numbers keep going up. Maybe that's because it's a fucking flu. You're not going to wait it out. It's a flu. You need to get it so that you can become immune to it. It's literally like saying, oh, every winter we'll shut down the world because the flu. You can't fight shit like that. So people have been literally stuck in their homes, not the ability to find jobs. And you're right there, Ronans. Mental health is at a point now where South Africa is at a breaking point. And what's even sadder about all of this is there's now political parties in the country that is trying to turn this into a race issue. So we now have political parties that sort of going, yes, but this is actually all the fault of the white man. So that anger is very quickly going to blow up to the point where now we have people killing each other based on race, which is never a fucking good idea. So, yeah, South Africa right now is a boiling pot, and it's sort of hard to see how it's ever going to not explode. Shit job with vaccination? Oh, yeah, the vaccine rollout is stupidly slow. The vaccine rollout is basically non-existent. Seems like the lockdown is doing a lot more harm. The lockdown is destroying my country. I warned about this right from the get-go, right? Right from the beginning. I said these lockdowns are going to kill more people than what they're going to save. And I still believe that's true worldwide. Every country in the world right now is going, oh, our economies are bouncing back. Our economies are doing so well. What people don't seem to realize is economies, after 2008, it took 18 months for the economy to crash. In 2008, we had that giant fucking housing market crash. Things went wrong. And then the economy went back up. Like, it shot back up. It looked normal. 18 months later is when people realized, oh, fuck. Now things are finally crashing down because the economy always lags for anywhere from 12 to 18 months. Economies don't react immediately. So we don't even know yet what these lockdowns are going to do because we haven't gotten to it yet. But I can tell you now, worldwide, these lockdowns are going to cause a lot of people to die of starvation, a lot of people to die of hunger, and it's not going to be viable for the government to print money. America has already overprinted itself to the point where if Biden and if they keep printing money the way that they are right now, the dollar is going to be absolutely fucking worthless. The dollar is going to get to a point where you may as well, it's going to cost like $1 million for a fucking bread. It's already happening. China, most of the Middle East have already announced that they want to move off the dollar price. They don't want to use dollars anymore for international trade because they don't trust America. America is printing too much money. As soon as that happens with enough countries, all that printing is gone. China won't be the winner, Ronans. That's the funny part of this. China doesn't realize it yet, but if America falls, China is fucked. Because America is China's biggest trading partner. If America can no longer buy from China, all of the stuff that China produces doesn't have a home. Right? So no one's buying the shit that China's producing, therefore China is making no money. So if China really wants America to go down, then China will follow soon after. Because the vast majority of China's money comes from the US. The truth is, and this is something that I realize a lot of Europeans don't want to hear, America is the leader of the world. If America falls, China goes with it. Europe goes with it. Australia goes with it. Africa goes with it. The entire world have hitched their wagon to the US. The second the US falls, the world falls with it. because they're all in the same boat. Every single currency in the world have hitched their own currency to the dollar. The dollar falls, the rest goes with it. That's just how it is. So anyone that's sort of going, yeah, America deserves this, needs to know that it's not going to take long before now suddenly you struggle under the same shit. So we should actually not hope that America goes down. We should hope that America fucking fixes the shit. Although I don't think it will. We'll see how it all turns out, though. That's my prediction, at least. Shay, I think it's bullshit. Dollar go down and we go down. Simple as that. Yes. Also, remember, America probably dropped bombs on every country that tried to get off the dollar. True. But dropping bombs on China would be the stupidest move in the history of the universe. Like, if America wants to start the war that ends the world, they go to a hot war with China. America is already at war with China. The world just doesn't seem to know. Like, it's already at war. It's an economic war right now, but it is a war. China have nuclear weapons. America have nuclear weapons. The first one to drop a bomb on the other will activate the nuclear warfare, and then you'll have a fucking nightmare on your hands. So we should never hope. We should hope that America isn't stupid enough to invade China, because that will almost guaranteed be a fucking fool's errand. Plus, I hate war. If they want to announce war, we get whoever the fucking, like, who's the president of China? What's that guy's name? Xi Jinping or some shit. And Biden. We take them to an island literally in between America and China. An island where no one is. We put up cameras and we give them a knife. And we go, right, there's your war. Let's go. This is war. Last man standing wins. And he can sort of impose whatever the fuck he wants on the other country. And then we see who wins. I feel Biden does not have the edge in that war. But you guys voted for him, so he's the commander-in-chief. He goes to war for you. That's the only war that I would be okay with. Is if you send presidents to fight their own fucking wars. Safe bet that if World War III ever happens, it'll be a lot of cyber. Of course, it will be a lot of cyber. But the fact of the matter is, if World War III ever happens, the world is fucked. Yeah, we should make all war a makura. I'm on board with that. You want to go to war, motherfucker, you go to war. This should not be up to... We shouldn't have troops, young people that go die in the name of some fucking old guy that wants to make money. It's bullshit, is what it is. It's very unlikely that first world countries will go to war in this day and age, but it could happen. Of course, Kimchi Green, I 100% agree with you. I think the vast majority of first world countries, especially the people, no longer have the stomach for it, right? As a people, we have evolved to the point where we don't want war. We find there's better ways to do it. And I agree with you. The vast majority of first world countries will probably not go to war. They'll probably try to stay away from war as far as possible. But in the history of the world, it has only ever happened 18 times that the incumbent world power has overtaken the current world power, right? This has happened 18 times in the history of the world. So basically, you have a world power, say the Greeks or the Romans or whoever, and then you have another world power, like a smaller one, that moves past the world power. In the 18 times that this has happened, 16 of them have resulted in war. Because the current world power doesn't want to lose their control over the position of world power, and therefore they go to war with the incumbent one. Now, currently, America sits at the top, but China is very close second to that. So, should China move past, it's almost guaranteed that it would end in war. If history is anything to go by. I want to agree with you. I want to agree with you. Because I hate to think what would happen if two nuclear supergiants went to war with one another. Because all it takes is one of them to lose their mind and drop a nuke. Now, the one reason I think people wouldn't do it, we all know the aftermath of a nuke. And also, whoever drops the first nuke becomes the enemy of the world almost instantly. Doesn't matter who it is. China can have the support of Russia. They can have the support of Africa. The first country to drop the nuke will instantly become the enemy of the world. So that's maybe the one saving grace that we have, is that either side will look at it and go, we can bomb the fuck out of each other, but we cannot drop a nuke. Because if we do, we are now fighting the whole world. Right? What's funny about that is Russia did not have China's back during this whole COVID pandemic. Right? They did not have China's back during the whole COVID pandemic. Yeah? What's that? You're a joke. I won. Hey, sorry guys. Yeah, my brother just needed a lighter. Sorry about that. Russia is actually not that good friends with China, all things considered. It's probably all over at that point. Agreed amongst. Like, that's the moment I phone Elon Musk and I go, motherfucker, get me out of here. Get me the fuck out of here. I no longer want to be here. The shit, it's going to shit now. Let's leave. I don't care. I know it's been a huge failure. I'll take my fucking chances. I'd rather go up in a ball of fire than fucking stay with a nuclear winter. Right? So I'm sort of... Yes, my camera does track my position. So if I move... The camera is trying to look for where I am. Yeah. I do love snow, but I wouldn't like radioactive snow. Radioactive snow, I think, could suck. But maybe South Africa will be fine. We're so far away from everything that maybe we'll be fine. Maybe all of you will then move to South Africa to get away from all the nuclear shit. Because we don't have nukes. We're Africa. We're poor as shit. We're super poor. We can't afford to build nukes, so you don't have to bomb the fuck out of us. We're fine. We'll basically just fucking surrender. So you don't have to worry about it. I feel like rogue countries like Iran and North Korea are more dangerous for worldwide peace right now. North Korea, I don't think so, Kimchi Queen. North Korea is a fucking joke, right? I mean... Sure, they have nuclear weapons, but they have no long-range capabilities. So North Korea, I would say, not an issue. Iran definitely could become a real issue if we don't keep an eye on them. So I agree with you on that. Poop nukes, sometimes those are worse in regards to chemical warfare. Serbia is poor, but it got bombed. Come on, a little bit of Fallout 4, real life. Wouldn't be too bad. It would be fucking horrible. Putin was 2008 in Germany where they speak and Germany refused it. Now we won't escape the violence. We'll still be fucked. Well, gonna run out of drinking water long before then. You see, I don't think that is the case. The world has plenty of water. We just need to learn how to utilize it. So, for example, wetlands. So many countries have their wetlands completely fucked because they don't maintain it. They allow for foreign plants to get in and destroy the wetlands. So if people can start doing it, if people can start taking care of the natural resources, remember that the world can supply. Mother Earth can supply everything we need, but we have to take care of it, right? And we have to know how to take care of it. They will though, since they aren't in check. If they can build a nuclear weapon, they can build a long-range delivery system. Kimchi Green, but long-range delivery systems tend to be extremely expensive, right? And the technology is that's required for long-range systems tend to be high-tech, which North Korea probably doesn't have a lot of access to, considering that North Korea has no friends, right? Not even China cares much about North Korea. So North Korea would first have to make friends with another country that sort of wants to start shit. But I do get your point, and I do agree with you. I still don't understand why the world have not taken action against North Korea. And I'm not talking about sort of blocking them out of global trade or sanctions and stuff like that. I'm talking about this is a country that treats their people with the so much disregard for human life. And yet whenever we talk about, bringing freedom and democracy to the world, why are we not talking about the biggest transgressor of them all? Why is it always that all of these other countries must get freedom and democracy, but North Korea can kill their people by the thousands and not pay any price? Well, resources. Yeah, but fuck that little fat cunt that's the dictator of North Korea. Like, fuck that guy. China doesn't really support North Korea, Mr. Smokin. Like, they help to some extent, but China is about as upset with North Korea as every other country in the world. Uses Israel, if we are going to have war, we may as well have war for the right reasons. Because I think most of us agree the war in the Middle East was not for the right reasons. No matter what you fucking want to believe, no matter what you want to say, the war in the Middle East definitely wasn't for the right reasons. The world went into the Middle East, basically destabilized the entire fucking region. For what? Those countries that sort of did a thing, right, and they sort of worked, are now fucked with more and more people dying every day because of destabilization, right? So that war, but if you're gonna go to war, you could at least go to war for a good reason. And I don't think there's anyone in the world that would disagree with freeing the North American people. North Korea to avoid a humanitarian crisis if the Koreans all flock to the Chinese border. Yeah, I heard that too, Kimchi Queen. I did actually hear there was someone who, I think it's a South African that actually lives in China that sort of explained why China does those things. Sloan, thank you for the Prime sub. Really fucking appreciate that. Welcome to the Fat Fuckers Club. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The minute China tells North Korea to fuck off, there will be U.S. aircraft carriers packed in Pyongyang Bay. I don't think so. I don't necessarily think so. China does tell the world, hands off North Korea. If you attack North Korea, we'll step in. I don't think they will. How many of you would love to have an alien invasion? Like, imagine for a second aliens invaded. How many of you would actually be secretly a little bit giddy over the prospect of an alien invasion? No, not in WoW, in real life. Maldorf, you're not a bad person at all. I'd rather have zombies. That would be too crazy. Fuck no. For Draenei, I'm on board. But I would fight for Earth. I join the aliens. Holy shit. Need an alien Prince Charming to come abduct me and take me to their world. what if they don't want to do nice things to you? Because that's what I just said. It's an invasion. So they're not going to come abduct you, Kimchi Queen, and sort of, you know, treat you right. I love The Tomorrow War. It was such a good fucking film. The Tomorrow War was really good. I also just recently watched Independence Day. So I downloaded Independence Day for July the 4th, as I always do. I love watching Independence Day. And it's such a good film. I do want to know, though, has anyone watched the new Independence Day? Niara, how are you doing? Is it bad? Fuck. I was hoping that it would be good. Aliens would be pretty pog. I think so. It would be really fucking cool. The sequel sucks ass. All right, I won't watch it then. I tried to watch A Quiet Place yesterday. Like last night, I tried to watch A Quiet Place. I did not enjoy that movie. Pacific Rim was also a very good film. Very, very good film. Prometheus was insane. Prometheus is it's a crazy cool movie. I'm going to see A Quiet Place tonight in theaters, so thanks. Kimchi Queen, I do apologize, but I've not watched the second one yet. I've watched the first one. I don't like the fact that it's so quiet. So, I think I should point this out. I hate anything with subtitles. When I watch a movie, I'm not there to read. Right? I'm not there to sit and fucking read the movie. I don't watch stuff with subtitles. I want to watch something that is in English, that I can understand. No subtitles, thank you. This movie had no speech. It was literally just fucking sign language, which I don't understand. There's a couple of things I can do nowadays, sort of, with sign language, because there's a guy that works in my supermarket that's deaf. And so I've sort of asked him, so thank you. I can do thank you, right? And I think this is beautiful. Something like this means beautiful. But I don't know anything else, right? I can't speak sign language. So I had to... They're sort of talking to each other, and I don't know what the fuck they're saying, so I have to read what they're saying to each other. And I hate that. I want something where I can hear them speaking. Edge of Tomorrow. I don't think I've ever watched that. But I just started watching last night, once again, Terra Nova. Does any of you remember Terra Nova? Has anyone watched Terra Nova? Kimchi Queen, I do have to ask though, literally just realized this. You're going to the theater still? Do people still do that? I don't even know where the closest theater to me is. Terra Nova is amazing. What do you mean it's bad? Terra Nova was insane. Apparently they do here in Canada. That is strange to me. I don't even know where my closest theater is to me. Like, genuinely, I don't know. I haven't been to the theater in more than a decade, I think, if not longer. I just watch at home. If I want to watch something, I'll watch it at home. I can't imagine going out and going to the theater. Yeah, I genuinely can't imagine that. Unless you're going with a girl, in which case, GG. But then it's not to watch the movie. Then it's just to make out in a new environment. I built my own in my basement. It's not about being 17. It's about having fun. Seven Raven, you have to have fun. If we stop doing the things, if you stop doing the things that you did as a teenager, I feel sorry for you. You should keep being young. You should keep doing things that's sort of stupid. I'm a girl and I'm not going there to make out. That is sadness. Kimchi Queen. Just find any dude. Just go sit next to a hot dude and go, oh, we're going to make out now. Tell me you didn't see Lord of the Rings in theater. I did not see Lord of the Rings in the theater, no. No. I loved Lord of the Rings, but I did not watch it in the theater. I would not have liked Lord of the Rings if I watched it in the theater. So, just, I don't know, maybe this is different in the rest of the world. I'm 6'1". Those seats in theaters are not designed for people that are 6'1". They're designed for minimum 5'8". So I sit in a theater, my fucking knees are pressing into the guy in front of me. I'm like, oh my god, this is not fun. I don't like sitting here. So yeah, I'd rather be at home in a comfortable chair. Yeah, we don't have that. I think it's because most people don't do theater in South Africa anymore. We don't have lover seats either. Maybe we do. I haven't been to the theater in fucking years. So I wouldn't know, right? There are some you can pay an extra price for bigger, more luxurious seats. I'd probably then pay the bigger price, I suppose. In South Africa, though, it's like this. There's like this much space. Like genuinely, it's about this much space between your chair and the chair in front of you. What's going on down in South Africa? Someone on the news? Oh, percentage. We already spoke about it, but it's like riots and looting and fucking chaos, basically. That's all it is. It's just chaos. However, ladies and gentlemen, guess what I'm going to do now? I just realized the time. I have to, the grey. Sadly, I have to. I just realized that it is LEC. They've started playing already. And I'm missing League of Legends. And I can't miss League of Legends. That would be a crime against humanity, to be quite frank with you. It's what I do on Fridays. Fridays and Saturdays is League of Legends night. It's when I watch League of Legends, and I get really pissed off when my team loses. Basically how it fucking works. Tabisic, I'm not allowed to watch it. You need a co-streaming license in order to stream it. And I once applied for it, and they also never got back to me. So, I guess once I get to like 1,000 viewers, I'll do it again. Like, I'll apply again to watch it with you guys. And then I can just sort of don't have to leave. I can just watch LEC. But yeah, I'm quickly going to go shop. Buy some biltong, because I'm really in the mood for biltong. And then once I've got my biltong, I'm going to watch the LEC and basically be fucking very boring for the next 2 days. And I will see all of you on Sunday, right? Sunday night, stream night. Can't wait to see you guys. It's going to be a good stream. This Sunday is going to be a great show. So definitely worth. Jesse X, because if I'm just muting, you're going to literally watch me watch something that you're not going to be able to know what I'm watching at all. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for the past week. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for today. Really means the world to me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed hanging out with you. As always, take care of yourselves. Take care of others. Be kind to each other. Be good to each other. Do something crazy this weekend. And I will see all of you on Sunday. Peace out, fam.